Well, guys, I don't know if anything is happening here. I tried to do something really cool for you, but it didn't seem to work. So I don't know if anybody's going to find this channel or what. Um, I'm still trying to fix the old problem, and I'll record this so that it can get up and going. And even though I couldn't do it live, you can hopefully see it. Otherwise, I'll do a whole video for it. I'm so sorry. Learning this is just driving me crazy. I had a really, really cool Q proofs that came up, and had to, let me just, till some of you get on here maybe. If you're watching me be frustrated trying to figure out these softwares. I don't see. Oh, we got Letitia. Hi, Letitia. I'm so glad. I'm sorry. I had something really, really great. Hi, Jeff. Glad to see you. I had something really great to do, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Let's see. I'm going to try it one more time. Even if you see a connection to get your stream running now, you've ended the previous session. You need to reinitialize. Bear with me for 1 second. Start the stream sends the initial handshake. So let's try something here. Start streaming, and it says it couldn't access the specified channel. Oh boy. It says I couldn't access the specified channel. And we'll wait a couple minutes, and then I'll just start talking about stuff, guys. I know a couple of you were there waiting. We lost a bunch. And I'm just trying to get this so that maybe I can still present it the way I wanted to, because it's really cool. There's a video that was uploaded by Elon Musk, and I was going to explain some Q proofs in it. So I'll keep doing this. Just bear with me for a second. Let's get a few people, and let me see if I can do this. Go to YouTube, so go back to the browser, even if your connection errors. Check for preview once you start streaming. Okay, couldn't access the specified channel when I hit streaming. Start streaming. Boy, I hate new softwares, guys. Let's see how many we have on the YouTube stream. Okay, we've got Jeff and we've got Letitia, huh? I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this done, but I'm going to still try something else. I want to try something real quick, so bear with me, and I'm going to see if I can get this up that I wanted to show you. And then I'll stop through it and so forth. So let me just, give me a sec here, and let me file, open, live stream content, which I prepared so much for. Okay, let's see. Now I'm going to see if you may see a video coming up, and if you do, let me know if you see this video coming up. So I'm going to close that out, and I'm going to go here. Oh, maybe I'll be able to do it. Let's see. The external clean. No. Here we go. Let's see if we can do it. I think we have it. No, I don't see it yet. Are you seeing a video in there, guys? Yes. And I'm down in the bottom. Oh, this is very cool. Okay. So, I think I can do this. And I'm going to start. We've just got Jeff and Letitia. So let's start with this. And then I'm going to see if I can get it. Okay, give me a second to decompress, guys, because, man, I just went through a half hour of just absolute horror missing this thing. So give me a sec. Okay. So I hope you guys had a really good 4th of July. Ours was an absolute nightmare. And I have to say, it was all my fault. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to be able to show you this video, but first I'm going to explain to you what's going on with this video. Both Elon Musk and President Trump posted what we call Q proofs on X and Truth Social on the 4th of July, right? So first I want to tell you about Q. Many of you have probably heard it. You've heard it's really a bad thing. It's a lie and all this stuff. And that's because they didn't understand what was going on with it. And of course, the media wanted to discredit it. Q is what is the highest level of clearance. There is a Q clearance if you look that up. And that is kind of like Men in Black type stuff, you know, the stuff that is not for public knowledge. They fly way under the radar. Well, that's Q clearance. And in, I think it was 206 or 207, the Q boards came up. And they are, if you ever want to look at them, they're at qalerts.net. And there'll be a description, there'll be it in the description as well. Okay, so what Q was meant to be, it wasn't a prediction. And so what happened is every time a date would go by and they'd look at that and they'd say, well, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. And it's true, it didn't happen, because what Q was doing was putting proofs in there so that in the future, people like us who are like so tired of waiting and waiting could go back and say, okay, everything's on task. Here's a Q proof. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to check out 2 Q proofs, I hope, today. It's really cool how it went down. So we've got more people on the channel. That's good. All right. So the first one I'm going to do is a video that was posted by Elon Musk. And when you watch this video, you're going to see that there's, and it might take me a minute to get it up, but I think I've got a way to do it without that entire morning of downloading new videos, new software and stuff. So I think I've got an easy way. But I want you to look for stuff here. I want you specifically to hear, in the beginning, you're going to hear, are we going, gone? Musk has talked many, many times about if we lose consciousness, that's the end of our civilization. And that's a reference there. Then one statement that you hear over and over and over again in Q, it's been repeated many times, is a storm is coming. There's been memes that I've posted where Trump has got sparks flying out of his eyes, and he says something about he is the storm. So that's going to be in this video as well. Then there's a part in it that I want you to hear, and it says, is it going to be free energy forever? How unbelievable, right after Dan's death, who was working on free energy. So is it going to be free energy forever? Then they're talking about 250 summers. That's, of course, the 250 years of the United States. And we're going higher, and it shows Musk's rocket ship. And then it's going to say to you, is the timeline, remember the timeline, is that coming undone, or is it becoming clear? Well, for those of us who understand Q-Post, it's becoming real clear. And then one of the biggest ones is you're going to hear many times, you guys have seen me. Hi, Dan, how you doing? So sorry. Oh, no, I had all kinds of issues, Dan, in the beginning. So I'm glad more are getting on. I hope they'll let me know if they're here. I thought Patricia wasn't going to make it today. She had something going on. But the first stream I set up with that beautiful little thumbnail, you know, talking about what this was about, I tried a new software and that was messed up. All right. So anyway, so you're going to also look in the video that I'm going to play where she says, where we go one, we go all. That is nothing but a Q reference. WWG1 WGA. At 128 is going to be the specific, really important proof, is what we call it. There's going to be this girl, and I'll try and stop it if I can for a second. And on there, behind her is a digital clock, and it says 45:59. And then under that, it shows the date as being July 1, 20. Well, if you go to Q-Post 4559, it was posted on July 1, 20. So it's referencing that Q-Post. Then in this video, you're going to see space portals. you're gonna. She's actually talking to aliens when she says, "Can you hear us from the other side?" And then she talks about the quantum divide. It's actually an amazing. It's an AI video. It's really great. And here we go. Let's see if we can get it up here, and let's see if we can get some sound with it. Share the audio. Also share tab audio. Here we go. I think. All right. So I want you to watch this.
The garden's either dying or about to come alive. The river's either drying or it's deep enough to dive. Can't tell if it's the dusk or if it's breaking into dawn. Are we going on or are we going? Somebody said a storm is coming, but it's been a long time. I don't know what's up ahead, but please, baby, don't you.
Hold on, we're gonna go back 1 second. Let me stop that. Right there. Are you seeing 4559? Well, there happens to be a Q post, number 4559, that was posted on July 1st, 2020. And that's how Q works. It wasn't predictions of anything. It was posts there that we could later be referred to by the president and others to let us know that Q is real and that we're on track. Here we go. I'm going to finish it for you.
Oh, it's up ahead, but please, baby, don't you look behind. So tell me, is it going to be free energy forever or just the same damn old grind? Singing, sweet land of the weary and the wild. Are we 1 year from the grave, or is this just the beginning? My sweet child, oh, you're my star-spangled fever dream. Half a savior, half a liar. 250 summers and we're going higher. Singing, sweet land, going. The neighbors might be coming with a casserole or a gun. The kids are either screaming or they're laughing in the sun. Is the timeline coming undone, or is it coming in clear? The fireworks are blinding, but I'll keep on dancing here. And nobody can promise me that we're gonna make it to the light. So is it an awakening, or is this a knife in the night? So come on, brother, sister, stand up tall, because guess what? Where we go on, we go on. If you can hear this from the other side, across this great quantum divide, don't get me wrong, now is the time to stay strong. So, with all of that, I'll say, God bless the USA! God bless the USA! Singing, sweet land, going on. 250 years and it's going on and on. On the edge of a forever or the edge of being gone. Is it midnight? Is it morning? Is it ruining? Is it time to rise? 250 summers gone by. So just go on and tell me those sweet lies, the kind as sweet as these July. Going on and going on. Light up, light, fire. Higher. sweet land, going, gone. So please, just know that we can still rebuild. We can still make something better.
Okay, guys. So, oh, hi, Tim. Who else do we have? Den's back. Patty and others are looking for you. I wish I hadn't screwed up, Den. I know, Den. This video is wild. It's all AI, Jeff. Tim thought it was Taylor Swift, of course, but it wasn't. But I don't know if anybody else is as thrilled about this as I am. It's called Sweet Land, Jeff, is my understanding. And it's all AI, the whole thing. I think the voice is AI as well, because now you can go into those softwares and do that. So I wanted to also show you guys, it's going to take me a second to upload it, but oh, let's go right to the proof, which is 4559. I'm going to take you, since I know how to use this screen right now, I'm going to take you to the proof. So what you do, I'm gonna just switch this screen now. If I, oh wait, I can't yet. Hold on. Yeah, I can. Hold on. Here we go. All right. I'm going to share this with you, and I'm going to show you how you do it. So I'm going to put in here under search drops. This is qalerts.net, you'll see. And under here, I'm going to put proof 4559. And that's going to pull up the proof that we just saw here. 4559, remember, was on her alarm clock. July 1st, 2020 was on the alarm clock. Let's read it. There was a time when our children stood at attention and with pride put their hand on their heart and in one united voice recited the Pledge of Allegiance. Any of you guys remember that in school? I sure do. There was a time when strength and honor meant something. There was a time when standing for our flag meant something. I'm going to cry. There was a time when our history and heritage was taught with pride and respect. There was a time when respect was given to those who served, bled, and died to protect and defend our freedom. There was a time when we were all grateful. There was a time when our accomplishments meant something. There was a time when these United States of America, one nation under God, was united. There was a time when these United States of America, oh, did I already do that? Oh, okay. One nation under God was united under the American flag. Sorry if I messed it up. A flag that carried in battle by brave patriots as a symbol of freedom and justice for all, no matter the race, religion, or background. And now they burn it, guys. A beacon of hope when it's flown, a mark of respect to their memory, to those who willfully sacrificed their lives to defend. There was a time when we, the people, decided our future. There was a time when we, the people, had a voice. There was a time when we, the people, were united and strong. There was a time when the media was free from political bias and corruption. There was a time when our elected leaders stood their ground, dug in, and defended those that they represented. How many men and women in uniform are currently serving on the front lines abroad, only to look back in horror to see the homeland on fire? And that's what was happening in 2020. What does the word patriot mean to you? Land of the free, home of the brave. Now is not the time to be complacent. Remember, we're getting these multiple cues, guys, about it's time to start coming out. Will you answer the call? Freedom. Now, this here is something that is in both of the posts that we're going to see, because we're going to look at the proof by Donald Trump as well. This was in a speech from Ronald Reagan. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in the United States where men were free. And then it says Reagan, and it's signed by Q. And that's how we know that the Q the Q program posted this. We think it's a handful of people that have access to Q, actually. So I'm going to take that one off. Let's see what you guys have to say. Jeff missed the name of the song. It's called Sweet Freedom, I believe. Sweet. Let's check it again. I loved it. I'm just going to check the beginning. Oh no, I took it off already. All right. So I have that one. All right. Now what I want to do is there was another proof, and that was by Donald Trump. And if you remember, I don't know if you guys have been watching this, but they had to shut down because of inclement weather for like 2 hours. They vacated the whole park. But so many people, tens of thousands of people, still came back even after the rains. And he gave this speech. And he had to give this speech. And now you're going to understand why, because it was another Q proof. So let me open Donald Trump's speech. Now that I know what I'm doing. Hold on, let me stop it. Go back. All right, I'm going to switch it out. I'll get the Jeff. I think it's Sweet Land. Sweet Land. It is. Got that, Jeff? Okay. All right, here we go. Now this is the proof that Donald Trump also put out very late on the 4th of July. So you should be seeing this now, and you are. This was so much easier. You wouldn't believe how I spent the entire morning downloading a new software, learning how to use it, and this function was right there. And of course, the AI never told me about it. So here we go. I'm going to do this one by Trump now. It's only a minute.
Few heroes remind us of these truths more than William Carney, who escaped slavery to become a Union soldier in the Civil
Remember that name, William Carney.
War, which was a very big deal at the time. On the front lines of battle, he saw a comrade struck down by enemy fire while carrying the Stars and Stripes, and Sergeant Carney dove to the ground to keep the flag from touching the mud. He didn't want to have it touch the ground. He didn't want to have it touch the mud. He wanted it to be perfect. He raised it high above the field and was shot 4 times. They thought he was gone, but he kept moving forward. He loved our country. He loved our flag. Before he returned to camp and announced, "Boys, the old flag never touched the ground." And he became the first African American to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor, and he was the first African American, and he was some man. He'd written stories about him. He was something special.
Okay, so that was what Trump said. Now I'm going to take you to the Q drop that was a proof for. And that is Q drop number 4469. And it looks like it's up. Okay, so now this is Q drop 4469. It was posted on June 13th. I haven't run those numbers yet to see if there's a coincidence. I don't know if anybody else has. But this entire post is about that Confederate soldier, William, what the heck was his name? I just lost it. I had it. I didn't put it in my notes. Let's look. Old Glory stands for freedom. Oh, his name was William Carney. That's right. William Carney. And that's the man that Trump just talked about, right? Old Glory stands for freedom and equality for all. The flag was carried by Union soldiers during the Civil War in a fight to abolish slavery. The flag of Lincoln. It was considered a great honor to be chosen to carry the flag in battle. The soldier was unarmed and knew that they would most certainly die, as did most who fought. But they understood that the fight, that their lives was worth the cost. It was a self-sacrifice. They believed in something greater than themselves. To them, the flag represented a symbol of freedom, of hope, of equality, and of prosperity. To disrespect the flag, to kneel, is to disrespect those people who fought and died to provide each and every one of us rights we are afforded to today. Old Glory knows not what color skin carries her, only that for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, to free from oppression. And then what's it end with? Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was like in the United States where men were free. Again, Ronald Reagan, and Q posted it. So that's what I wanted to show you guys there. If you want to know more about Q, if you want to know anything about those posts, if you want to talk about something else, that's fine too. Tell me what you did on the 4th of July. I so wanted to go to Washington, but Tim didn't want to ask for the time off from work. It would have been several days, and it wasn't possible. I really, really wanted to film that event for you guys. So tell me what you think, guys. If not, you're going to hear about our holiday, which you're not going to want to know about, I promise you. And Tim won't love that one either. So what do you think? What do you want to do? You got some questions? Let me tell you what we did, since I don't have any new questions. So we went, I wanted to go to Washington, okay? And to go to this event. Tim is not quite the adventuresome soul that I am. I'll pick up and fly across the world with no reservations. I've done it many, many times when I was young, and that wasn't a problem. But, you know, he's afraid that there was going to be violence there, like there was at, you know, J6 or something like that. So anyway, I said, well, we're going somewhere. We're not sitting home. And I'll answer you in just a second, Letitia. And so anyway, so I said, okay, let's go to Busch Gardens. I'll tell you what, it was the most horrible thing. We live not far from Busch Gardens, and I grew up in Tampa Bay. So I went there from the time it opened, and I was a child. I had heard that BlackRock bought it out. But I thought, you know, I was desperate because I refused to go to Disney, and it was kind of far, and we'd already said Busch Gardens, and they were supposed to have a really nice fireworks show. So we went. It was one screw job after another. You go online, and the ticket said that they were $49.95. You get in line at the place if you didn't buy online, and they're $150. You go back online now to do it, and it still says $49 or $59, whatever it was. But when you then go to buy the ticket, it bumps it up $20. All right, we did it. We drove here. What are we going to do? I'm meeting my daughter and her son here. So all that. So they charge you twice at the window as if you buy it online. Okay, no big deal. Tim wanted the food package, which was another $40. Well, guess what? You go online to buy that. It's $40. You click it. You pick the 4th of July, and it bumped up to $60. Every single thing we touched, whatever the price was, it was $20 more. And there was another thing. So it was just, oh, I know. There's no way you can get a printed map anymore. So for people like us who don't have the newest iPhone, that don't have a battery pack that we can stick on the phone without electricity, we can't keep that phone running all day because it will go. And number one, we can't see the darn map there. No times for any of the shows. You can't access them without going onto your phone. They can't print out a map for you. We even stood in line at customer service over and over and over again. It was one thing after another. We got to see one show, which was the one right near the entrance that we went to immediately. And the guys got to go on one ride because it rained on and off, and they shut it down even when it wasn't raining. They were shutting all the rides down. So it was just, it cost us probably, with a hotel and everything, close to $500 for a day to see one show, have nothing but aggravation. And we told everybody there that we would never go again to Busch Gardens. That was the last time. And the reason why, guys, it's BlackRock. They don't care. And one of the employees said, because Busch, That was their baby. Anheuser-Busch used to love that park. That was their baby. Now it's BlackRock, and we're nothing but a number to them. So that's just a clue, guys. If you want to go to Busch Gardens, don't. You're going to waste your money. All right, so let's see what we got here. I see that Tony joined us. Tony, I am so sorry about that first stream. It was just something that it's a learning curve for me. All right, so what do I think about President Trump ringing the bell for the stock exchange in the Oval Office? I'll do that one first, and then Mystifying Mark had a question that is funny that I want to answer too. All right, so I'm trying to go back to that. He rang the bell for the stock exchange in the Oval Office. Oh, that was for the Trump accounts for the children. That's why he did that, because those Trump accounts are tied to the market. So they're put in an investment account that's tied to the market, and that's why he rung it. I think it's wonderful for the children. I know that the darker ones and the ones controlled still with the leftist media, they were saying, I don't know, they went off on some tangent. You know, and they're just so angry to see the United States becoming strong again. I hope you did get to see that movie, Letitia. And so for me, I think it was ingenious. I think that every hint that Trump gives us that our country is coming back and that we are ridding ourselves of these demons that control not only the United States, but every institution in the world. I think it's great. I think anytime he can get some airtime and bring us back home to where we belong, I'm thrilled with it. So I was glad with it, Letitia. The necklace, Mark, the necklace. We were in what is that place where they made all the Southern Rock Muscle Shoals? And we were in the studio in Muscle Shoals, and somebody asked me that question. What it is, I don't know if you can see it or not. I can't get it off right now. It's a tachyon device. And what that does is it's an energy device. It's not a med bed type technology. And I don't even know what's in it, apparently, but I guess people hang things like this on their neck to do cocaine out of or something. That's not what's in it. This is a tachyon device. And even if there's nothing in it, what I can tell you is I've worked with tachyon devices in the Tesla biohealing center that my friend owns. And I was there one day helping her out, and she was gone. And I had one of her patients there, patients, customers, whatever you want to call them. And he was, he had just been diagnosed, or I guess he was in a lot of pain from some kind of GI cancer. And so Medj had some tachyon discs, and she told me where to put them on the man. And as I was putting it, was his second thing, only his second treatment. He had gotten one a few days before. And he looked at me and he said, I don't know what's in these things, but all I know is when I left here last time, I haven't had pain since. And so I don't know what exactly tachyon, I mean, I've done a video on it. I don't know how it's in this little thing, but if nothing else, guess what it does? That metal keeps the EMF of working on the computer all day long off of my chest. So I wear it. It's kind of like a just in case type thing. And I can put it, I'll put some tachyon devices. I think I have a link of tachyon devices. There's all kinds. The discs, let's say you had a backache, lower backache, you just lay with those discs on your back for a little while, or an arm thing. They're not really that expensive, but they have gone up a little bit in price. But I have a link to some Amazon things, which is my Amazon affiliate account. And I do make a small commission if anybody buys from them. I have to disclose that. Oh, Patricia's here. Great, great, great. So I'll put that link in here to the tachyon and other devices. And that's what that's about. Now, Den says, can you do a video on the importance of the divine feminine and why it has been hidden from humanity? Well, I sure will. Divine feminine. Now, what I want you guys to understand, and let's say hi to Patricia because she said she wasn't coming, and I'm so glad she's here. You did miss something, Patricia. you missed this amazing video and Q proof that Elon Trump posted, and also that President Trump had a separate Q proof in his speech that he did. I'll go ahead and play that towards the end of this again, so you can see it. It's just, I love it. I love it. So, what I wanted to say here about this divine feminine, and I don't get into a lot of these new age things. Not that they don't have foundation, they do. But I did some research for someone on the channel earlier this week about a Mr. Perez, and I know a lot of you guys like him. And I'm not saying he's good, he's bad. I'm not saying anything. What I learned, because I've known about him for Ismael, that's his name, Ismael Perez. And I've known about him for a long time, but I really, like I said before, I do not follow or even watch the content of other truthers. Most of my work is very intuitive, and much came from Dan if I needed any kind of validation. I have a way of being able to research and validate over and over and over again. So I don't want to hear something that somebody has to say unless I can validate it. And so I can't watch a 3-hour stream to go through all that stuff and validate it. But I will do something like how Dan just asked about the divine feminine energy. But what I wanted to share with you is, in researching Mr. Perez, I learned that apparently how he became very popular, and I've seen it with others. There's a guy named Sean somebody who has all of these dark people come on, and that's all it is about all the really dark, bad stuff that happens. And you know that it's one thing to know about it, but suffice to say, there's stuff going on that our minds are incapable of conceiving. And so don't be worried if you don't know what these demons have done. Yes, they are cannibals. Yes, they torture children. The things that they do is incomprehensible. They use these children up and then sell them for organs or eat them. It's just something that normal people don't want, okay? And I see these networks that completely push this out over and over again with never a bit of hope. You know what I'm saying? So Mr. Perez became popular. What I found out is for 2 years, he had a channel. And in that channel, he didn't even have 40,000. I think after 2 years, he only had 40,000 subscribers. So he was a regular guy, trying to do good and helping. Well, what happened was, at 2 years, he became part of a network of truthers, a network. In his particular case, Dr. Michael Salla was one of them. Also, Gaia was another one. And there were a number of networks that he would go and interview them, and they would interview them. And then there was one particular guy. I have his name, I think. Yeah, here we go. About 4 years on his channel. And at that time, at 4 years, he had twice the viewers that I had as well. So I can't find exactly where those other people were that's in his network. But what I learned in my research is that there are networks, just like there's control networks. Well, there are disclosure networks. Are you loving this? And it makes sense. I've known it intuitively all along. But these networks, let's say I've had quite a few people ask me to do a live stream with them. And I've chosen, for the reason that I've said, I do not want to be bought. I refuse to open my heart and my mind up to somebody that could be on the wrong side of this whole thing. I don't feel I need them to discern. Everything I know to discern the truth is right inside here. So there's these disclosure networks. And when you get involved in one of these disclosure networks, you all of a sudden get major exposure, and you're pumped up with the algorithms because of who you're associated with and how many times your stuff is being shown within this network over and over again. And that's how the dark ones can lift those podcasters above people like me that refuse to become affiliated with other people and propagate my content with people that I don't know if they're good, they're bad, I don't know what. What I can say is that when I looked at his network of influence, of this disclosure network that he was involved with, I happen to know personally from Dan that one of them turned dark. And two of them I suspected were dark since I actually attended a Gaia network. Now, I want you to understand, guys, that this doesn't mean everybody in Gaia is bad. This only means that, let me see if I can make an analogy. An analogy would be someone, in fact, Dan talked about this in one of the emails that I posted on one of the ones with his emails. He knew Sasha Stone. Sasha Stone approached Dan. Now, Sasha Stone was part of this Gaia Network event that we went to in LA. And there were a bunch of people on there. So it was George Norrie and a bunch of them. And I became concerned about this huge 3 floors of speakers. There had to be, at this event, I'm going to say 30 different pop-out speakers that you could go to. Well, what I found shortly after that is anybody can pay to be a speaker in that forum, in that huge event, that huge awakening disclosure event. Anybody could pay. And if you paid the buck, you could be a speaker and share your truth or your lies with anybody you chose. So that right off the bat put that whole event as a question mark in my mind about their stability. So, or their origins. And you have to remember, if the deep state bought and controlled both sides, they knew a long time ago that this was coming out, about extraterrestrials were going to eventually come out. They've known because they've been losing for a long time. The whole thing with Biden, I personally think that that was all planned. I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was all planned and it was necessary. Hugh told us over and over again, it had to be this way, guys. There was no option. It had to be this way. They had to bring down the Fauci's and his assistants in NIH. They had to find enough on these people to pin them down and remove them permanently. They had to get all of these crooked judges and politicians. They had to let them hang themselves. And that's what's been going on. And yes, it's sad that we lost so many during Biden and what he did with the immigrants and stuff. It's really sad. But the fact of the matter is, we're not talking, I'm just going to come up with a number because I don't have them off the top of my head. But let's say 100,000 people died over that whole COVID issue. We're talking about mankind. And that's what Q and that's what President Trump and Musk understand. We're not talking about the people on this planet right now. We're talking about the existence of mankind in general, forever and ever. So that's why, guys, that's why some of us will be martyrs and some of us will make it through. Okay, Patricia, have fun, sweetheart. I love you. Have fun. Catch it on the replay. So another thing that came up that was a proof when I was going over what I just said. So many, Donald Hendricks. Hi, Donald. I haven't met you before. I'm so happy to meet you. Are in it for the money. I can't listen to them at all. You know, that's a good point you make, Donald. It's not that they want to make money, because I can tell you that running a channel like this is expensive, especially when you're first starting out. You buy or you pay for softwares, and a lot of people may even go get video editors because I'm a graphic artist. I've been on the internet since I was in government when the internet came out, and I was on it before it was public. And I made my first website back then. So I'm pretty graphically oriented, but a lot of podcasters aren't. So I don't begrudge anybody covering their expenses or even making a little income so they can afford to do the research that's required to do a good one. So I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is who they're aligning themselves with and whether they are spreading misinformation, disinformation. The difference, misinformation is a mistake. Disinformation is a planted narrative that's a lie, basically, or an half-truth, perhaps. So an untruth or a half-truth. That's a disinformation. So there's lots of disinformation planted out there. And some of these people that get in these disclosure networks are parroting stuff that they believe their sources and their friends in their network are true, but somewhere deep down in there came what we call a node. And this I found out in researching this. This node knows what's going on, and they have been manipulated one way or the other, whether it's money, whether it's blackmail, whether it's safety. You don't know what they have, that node has been flipped on. But that node is a big name. And that node then goes out and does podcasts with all these other people once they flip. Because the particular one that I know of that was a node in that particular network that he's in used to be connected with people, and whether he ever really was or just infiltrated the Galactic Federation of Worlds, I don't know. But he had infiltrated Dan and Elena and so forth. And so those people, these nodes that are high profile and can draw it, what they do is they create many parrots within this disclosure network. I'm not a network. I'm me. I do my homework. My network was Dan Willis. That was it. That's who confirmed what I did, and everything else I do comes from hours and days of research. So I wanted to make that clear, that there are disclosure networks out there, guys. And I know that you have this thirst to know everything that went down. And what I can tell you is imagine the worst, because that's what has happened. Imagine the worst. Imagine that the people, and you're seeing it, and see how it's being rolled out slowly. If they had rolled all this out all at once, how could you have caught the Somalian theft, and all of those people? Or what was that? The USAID. How many programs? Billions of them. That let me just go to that. Doge, and I'll give you an accurate figure. Right now, Doge savings, I'm going to give you this so you can see it in case you never have. There you go. So Doge savings, so far they have saved $215 billion just in programs that were cut out. That's not all of this other theft that they're finding, because that's just NGOs that were taking government money. There's lots of other ways. You don't have to be an NGO registered to be able to do that. So that saved each taxpayer $1,335.40. So my point being, that camera is that looking okay at me? So my point being is that let's see. Okay, I gotta let me finish that point, and then I'd like to share Den's comment. So the point being is, we wouldn't have noticed the Somalians if all of this boom came out at once. There's so much. The arrests of the pedophiles, the pedophiles that are in our government that have been busted over and over and over again. The fraud within the hospice system in California. Now we've got Newsom, and he's got some funky thing coming out that's being exposed. I mean, you could go on and on and on with all of the things that have come out. It almost needs a list of things, of all of the dirt and all of the corruption that has been controlling our government. Look at the Fed board member who has been accused of mortgage fraud by the Fed, or what's her other name? That was it Letitia James or something? But there were multiple ones that were involved in mortgage fraud as well. That stuff, if it came out all at once, guys, there's so much, and they haven't even started on the bad stuff. The Epstein stuff, right? All of that. You guys know it's bad, but do you really understand what this man did? that temple had multiple underground layers. There's videos that were online through the QAnon group years ago. And now they have surfaced, and they're little girls in these Grecian outfits, and they must have been 6 or 7 years old, maybe 10 at best. And they were in this temple. It came out later that they were in this temple. So there were young children on Epstein's Island. This wasn't just models that put themselves in that position or anything like that. And I'm not saying they put themselves in it deliberately, but their goal was fame and fortune and exposure. So as an adult, they knew what they were getting. There's children that have been bred for this, sold for this. It's the most horrible thing. If they told us all of that at once, guys, it would just go right over our head. It's too much information, too much corruption. And it had to be like this so that we slowly begin to open our eyes. Well, one thing I ran across, and it's a proof back from 2020 on the 4th of July also, and it was President Trump. And in that, President Trump talked about the 4th of July and that he signed the Declaration of Independence. Has anyone seen that? I've got to find this speech. He signed the Declaration of Independence, and then he then spoke about the new republic. So I'm going to find that one too, because that's something we've heard a long time ago. And that would make sense. If the new laws were already signed before the Biden show came on, then we're standing behind, and everything that was enacted in that new one is going to be able to be utilized to take care of these people. So I'm going to do some research on that. Let me know if that sounds like something you guys would like. Okay, and then Den says, and Den was, no, it was Donald that was talking about that they're doing it for the money and that he can't listen to them all. And you're right. And the thing is, so that you know, Donald, some of the most, that's a key that they look for in these networks. They want somebody personable. They don't want somebody that nobody likes, that's miserable up there speaking. They want a personable, good-looking person in these networks because they have the draw. So some of these people within the dark disclosure networks, apparently, is what we're going to call them now. They're very personable people. They're car salesmen, kind of, okay? And you really love them. I'm not going to say the name because I just don't want, it's not my job to disclose all these people that are such big podcasters and have turned to the dark side. So what I can tell you is go back and look where their money came. How did they make their money? Did they make their money with Spotify? Did they make their original money with Disney? And now they're poo-pooing and saying how bad Disney is, but they're turning on them. That is how Hangout, it's not, I used to call it Hangout Disclosure, limited Hangout. That's how limited Hangout goes. Somebody that's real friendly, that everybody loves, has a big audience, sits there and rah, rah, Trump, rah, rah, Trump. Look at these bad Democrats. Look at these bad Democrats. Okay. But in reality, when something really important comes about, they shuffle it under the rug. And nobody knows about it because their content, it's another CNN and MSNBC network. You're fixed to those particular podcasters, and that's where you derive your information. So if you got to listen, you got to know, diversify, guys. And oh, you were never able to see the live stream. Well, I'm glad you are. So that we know, we'll repeat it for everybody that's on here. The live streams are going to be on Fridays. I screwed up last week and missed that one. Today I was late. So they're Fridays at 4 p.m. every Friday. Tuesdays at 2 p.m. And Tim is working on his music channel. And we're thinking that perhaps on Fridays or Saturdays, he'll be having a live drumming stream too. So we're getting this all together. Bear with us. And I'm so glad that you made it, Donald. And so what Den said, he said, if you're not motivated by moving humanity forward in love and truth, humanity will just be fine without your input. Not only will it be fine, I'm going to go further than that, Den. It would move along faster. This whole thing would move along faster if we didn't have so many people being led by the nose. or like sheep or whatever by these liars. And I'm going to call them liars, whether they're telling half-truths or total lies. A half-truth is a lie, in my opinion. When I know something, I'm going to tell you, unless I think it's not in my best interest or your best interest. So not only would humanity be fine without them, again, they're slowing us down. They're slowing us down. So you think, oh, but I like what he has to tell you. I like what, ask me. Somebody's talking about the divine feminine and how important that is. Of course, the divine feminine is important. That goes without saying. But I want to look up the narratives and see what else. I mean, we nurture children. We're responsible and, for the world going on. But you have to remember that what Musk says and what his greatest fear is true. Even with the Divine Mother, if we lose our consciousness and our ability for thought, independent thought, and we become a hive mind, we've lost our civilization. So we have to be very careful, guys. It's hard sometimes to think. It's hard to do your own research. If you want research on something, ask me. I try really, really hard to respond to as many things as I can, as many remarks and quotes as I can. And I'm getting better at it. This going live thing is helping me out some. Although it's also slowing me down sometimes when I have to learn new stuff. So I'm going to look into that, but I want you to know that I have confirmed there's disclosure networks out there. So if somebody rubs you wrong, is filling you with fear, and you walk away going, holy heavens, I'm scared to death now after that. I'm afraid that the motherships are going to come down and attack us and disrupt and a comet is going to come and blow up the earth. And all of these fear narratives, guys, understand that's just what they are. Everything is under control. And if your podcasters aren't letting you know that we are defeating this beast, then and they're trying to make you feel like we have lost control, we haven't, and we're not going to, because it had to be this way. We're not going to lose control. We're pulling these people out. And I pray. I try to be like the mother. I have one friend, Loyal still, who hasn't been on these. At least he's not talking on them if he is. But I see him go astray. He got off of X because he was getting into a lot of dark narratives. X, when you go to X, right? Remember, X has so much AI on it. And I'm going to show you something. If you want to go to X, X has a lot of good information on it. Okay? But it also has a lot of AI-generated content that mimics as somebody really saying something, which is not cool at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you once again. And if you choose to go to X, it's got a lot of good information, but you got to know how to tell the lies from the truth. And this is one of the best ways, and it will help you through everything. So let me switch this over for you guys. Okay. And I'm going to share it now. All right. So this is an X post right here. All right. And it's just talking about, the normal unhinged Karens. We don't even have to look at it. That's not my point. My point is, if you're looking at something that appears to be AI generated, like this even, okay, he assures that the Babylon Bee, by the way, in case you don't know, that is, what do you call that? Satire. It's not real. It says Mitch McConnell's staff assures public his death will not prevent him from finishing his term. And you know that one's satire, okay? But if you go here, what I want you to notice is where I'm clicking. See that little thing? Explain this post. That is Grok pulling it up. And you can go to Grok and it'll tell you all about that post. And what you can simply say is this image AI generated? Hit the little arrow and Grok will analyze that for you. And it will tell you if it's real or no. No. So the image is a real photograph of Mitch McConnell. And then it says the Babylon B routinely creates these editing, public domain, licensed photos, blah, blah, blah. But that's how you make sure you're not listening to lies or generated media that is a controlled narrative trying to make you believe one thing. And trust me, they do, because they want us to look like fools. They want awake people to look like fools. So they'll seed something in there that is a total lie, and then you go and spread that to all of your friends and neighbors online, and you look like an idiot because it wasn't real. And somebody eventually comes and they expose it for what it is. So that's how you use X, and you confirm whether something is real or not. And you don't even have to be confirming one of those things. It allows you to click that that button right here. Let me show you one more time. Okay. See this right here? When you pull up that little explain this post thing, you can go down here and ask anything. See this? You can actually link. Let's just put that Q post that we had, that on there, and say, is this AI generated? What is it? And so you can add your own photo. So if you see a picture or a video or whatever, even if it says, Spirit said that we're all screwed and the bomb is coming next, put that in there and you'll see it wasn't me, because I will never, ever say that. And then you just click that little button, and I asked if it's AI generated, and it's thinking about it, and it's going to come up and say, it's a Q post, blah, 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 blah. No, this image is not, and it says what it is, and it says a typical green text, and it context, it ends with Ronald Reagan's quote, which we said, it's got the hashtag, and it explains it all. So that's how you can use that so that you don't get caught up in the lies. So let me get caught up here a little bit on this. I've been able to see the ones that are fake for years. Good for you, Donald. Good. I also don't need the glasses from they live to see the demons and ETs. And there's a reason for that, Donald. Whether you know it or not, you have an intuitive connection of some sort. I actually had to practice and learn my intuition. And there was an event in my life that was a really horrible event where I trusted somebody implicitly with something very private, and they let me down. So at that point, there's nothing worse when you were a drug agent, you were trained on how to analyze people's thoughts, how to have gut feelings about people, and you are betrayed by somebody that you share something so personal with, and you're thinking, I know nothing. So that's when I became, and the best thing I can tell people is, it's not up here. It's not thoughts coming into your head, for me at least. And everybody must be different. There's many, many ways to connect to the other side. But for me, it's not thoughts. For me, it's here, is all I can say. It's a feeling. It's a feeling that something is true or false. It's a feeling that I'm drawn and repelled from content. I don't know if any of you feel that same way, or what your intuitive manifestations are like, but that's what it's like for me. I am actually physically like an energy drawn or repelled from things. So that's good that you don't need them. Fake news is everywhere. Yes, it is. What is DJT equals tippy top? He's the top. He's not the top of everything that's going on. The High Council of the Galactic Federation is helping us. And I'm going to even go so far as to say, even though they're sitting in the background right now, there are many world leaders that are on top of this and are part of all that's going on. We're watching a movie, guys. Remember that. We are watching a movie. Much of this is played out. Whether there has been executions or not, we don't know. I'd have to go through and see. I've heard both, but I've never really investigated it within the drops. Whether there's says anything about them already being gone. It does. Much of what you heard during the days of QAnon were the Anons, not Q. As I told you, the only way you can tell what is Q and what is not is there's going to be that signature Q on there. Otherwise, you're going to see things like, let's pull up this one, 465. I don't know if you can see this, but somebody here, Q posted, and he gave a link to a thread here that was the Anon board, okay? And that gives a thread to people that have all put things and so forth. And when you go back, you will see that an Anon here under 178-30238 posted Q&A. Can we have a Q&A? And that's when Q responded in time. So when you see something here, if it doesn't have the Q signature, it wasn't a Q post. It was a QAnon, which is not Q. They're people just like us that were searching for information, and some of them were plants as well. So keep that in mind. Q is the real deal. Anons are not necessarily the real deal. So let me go back to this. I saw somebody said something. Tony's got his popcorn. Tony knows what's going on. Mitch McConnell and market trading begins in Texas. Okay, I need more than that, Den. Was that when he rang the bell? Are you talking about, or is that? I mean, I don't think the guy's alive. I don't think he's been alive for many times. Have you seen those? I'm so glad that here's the thing, guys. I was very frustrated that I had to cancel not cancel, but I had to undo all the work that I did this morning. But I found something very easy. We can talk about something. I can go online and I can share my screen with you, which right in YouTube interface, which I never knew I could do. So that's going to be really cool in the future. So yes, we lost a half hour of our time today, but we learned a lot. DJT has said the same thing in the early days. He said he thinks with his heart and mind. I didn't hear that, Dan. Did he really? That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Turn my phone on. Thanks for coming on. Oh, hi, Happy. Good to see you. You just got here. Well, okay. You have to go through. I'm going to play it again before we close as the closeout for this. And some of you can just leave if you don't want to see it again. But to me, I'll watch it 1,000 times. I'm going to close this off when we stop with a video that was posted by Elon Musk that is a Q-proof that lets us know that we're on, and they were posted on July 4th. I'm not going to post the Trump Q-proof again. You can watch that in the rerun, but I just love watching that Musk proof. So I'll be putting that in the end, and you'll get to see what you missed. Thanks for coming, Happy. I appreciate it. Let's see. Donald says, timeline shifts are daily for me, and seeing things fall before they fall makes for great saves of things. That's really cool. So what you're saying, Vixen, she made it, Vixen. Okay, Vixen, you got to watch the beginning because there was really important content. And like I just said, I'm going to replay this one part that was wonderful. It's a USA thing. I understand you're not there, but the point wasn't that it was a USA video. What you have to understand is in that video, even though it's geared to US audiences, it confirms Q. And in the song, you'll hear where we go one, we go all, which means this isn't a United States thing, guys. This isn't about the US taking over the world. This is about where we go one, we go all. If the US goes down, the rest of the world goes down. If the rest of the world goes down, the US goes down. And why is that? Because the dark can live anywhere. They can live anywhere and infiltrate us on many levels. So where we go one, we go all. If this world is going to advance, we've got to be rid of people like Maduro and the Ayatollah. We're in this together. This is the whole world. So that video is going to play, and I hope it brings you as much joy to your heart as it did to mine, Vixen. Okay, so Donald, I'm going to go back to your timeline shifts are daily for me, and I see things fall before they fall. That's really something that you need to develop. My problem is I don't have great visual ability when I close my eyes. It's something that I never developed. As I've told many of you, I don't have a memory of my childhood. I think there's a reason for that. And Susan Nachman, she says I'm absolutely a starseed. I don't know. I never got into that stuff. I know one thing. I know from the day I was born, everything in my life led me up to where I am right now. The fact that Dan Willis contacted me instead of vice versa tells me I'm meant to be doing what I'm doing. So you might want to investigate that, Donald, because if you have visions, pre-notions of things, that is so powerful. And I'd love to know about some of those things. Post them for me. Okay. Exactly, Letitia. He's not alive. Oh, let me get back to Mitch. He's not alive, but he's still voting Democrat, like so many others, right? So the thing that got me on the Mitch McConnell thing, we've seen him many times being totally clueless and talking so slow. But it's the times when he froze and had to be removed. It almost was like a robot running out of energy, wasn't it? How they run out of battery power or they malfunction in some way. The last one I saw, which was most recently, he had to be removed. They couldn't revive him when he froze. So that tells me this could definitely be some kind of robot clone, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I love, okay. So we done with that? Hi, Mark. Mark's still posting. Good. All right, Vixen, here's the thing. With the plastics, okay? Oregano oil is great for infections. I've used it, especially if you want to see if you have that. Let me check. So much stuff comes into my mind all the time. Infection in GI and ulcers. Oh, I knew them so much when I practiced, but right, the H. pylori. Remember that? The H. pylori, which I believe is a common. I took it one time. The oregano oil, and it's great for that. I have nothing to say that it will remove plastics or how. So let's take a look while we're here. Boy, this is so cool, isn't it? I'm going to switch screens right now and let you see how I query that, so that hopefully some of you will learn how to control these AIs. Hold on, I'm not ready for that yet. Let's go to what we're talking about. Okay, I'm going to go. There's different ones that I use for different things. In this particular one, ChatGPT is pretty good with historic science. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to switch it over. Oh, this is kind of fun. We can work together, isn't it? Did I put it up? ChatGPT. Here we go. All right, so you should be seeing what I'm querying now. Now, what I'm going to say is, give me the strongest beneficial effects of oregano oil. I had some fresh oregano this morning or this afternoon for my lunch. Oregano oil. And is there any way that it could be beneficial in removing circulating, because you have to be very specific. You have to be very specific with the language. Circulating plastics in non-lipid organs. Okay, now first let me explain. I'm going to take you off that for a second and let me explain that. Okay, now here's why I worded it just like that, okay? When something gets into lipid, into the fat cells, into your breast tissue, your brain, which is all fat, your nervous systems. We've talked about this last week, right? About how the neurons have got the myelin sheath lining it. That's fatty. That's fat. And that's why fat can get in there and cause all these toxins can get into that fat and cause all of these disruptions in our nervous system. So that's why I specifically said fat-borne, because I can tell you right now, there's no way that I know of that oregano oil will pull it out of there. And I don't believe it will pull it out of circulating because it's not a diuretic. But let's take a look and see what it says, huh? All All right, so let's see what chat has to say. So the strongest is that, just like I said, it's broad spectrum antimicrobial. I knew that. Potent antioxidant. Well, an antioxidant won't do anything to remove that. And it does have anti-inflammatory effects, which we also knew, right? So if something's inflamed, that's good. But imagine this. Imagine a sliver of glass in your, let me go back here, sorry. Get off that right now and go back. So imagine a sliver of glass in your hand right here, right? Well, you can take aspirin for the inflammation and it might stop hurting you a little bit, but the source of the inflammation remains. So just the fact that oregano oil is anti-inflammatory doesn't mean it's going to remove the plastics. Keep that one in mind. So let's go back to our answer. All right. Now, so it goes into the biofilm disruption. Biofilms make bacteria harder to kill. So these are things that are put again around bacteria. It's the shield. You know how I tell you guys, in your mind, create a force shield around you to protect you from the negative. So the biofilm is a shield that goes around these various bacteria that make them hard to kill sometimes. So that has nothing to do with it. Possible support for gut health, antifungal activity, possible metabolic benefits. So that would be insulin sensitivity, blood sugar regulation, fatty liver. So that stops the liver from becoming fatty. Triglycerides. So it could include, and so the triglycerides, again, they're a function of the omega-3s and omega-6 and stuff. Could it help remove it? The answer is, and this is pretty much what I believe too, there is currently no direct evidence that it can remove microplastics or nanoplastics from bloodstream or tissues. And here's some distinct mechanisms that you want to consider. You can reduce the oxidative damage with the antioxidant effects of it. So it says that microplastics cause much of their harm through the oxidative stress, through chronic inflammation, and through messing up your DNA, mitochondrial dysfunction. So oregano does reduce them, but again, we're stuck with the glass in our hand. We still have the problem. So while it probably won't remove the plastics, it may remove some of the downstream damage. Then there are supporting detoxification enzymes. Some animal studies suggest that the carvacrol increases the activity of detoxification enzymes, and it goes through the particular ones. They remove reactive oxygen species rather than the plastics themselves. So they remove the oxidative damage. Mechanism 3, limiting the inflammatory signaling. Again, it cuts down the inflammation, the signals that are going to cause it to tell your body, oh, there's a problem there. You got to go rush and fix that. That's the anti-inflammatory process. Then there is mechanism 4, protecting the organs. So it makes the organs stronger and can protect them in that sense. If microplastics injure these organs through the oxidative mechanisms, oregano oil might prove some protection, though it's not been demonstrated. Now, could it bind the plastics? That's the key term that you're asking. There is no evidence that it can, and I would agree with every one of these. I've done a lot of research on it, and there's no evidence that it can remove them. What about plastics in non-lipid organs? This is where the current science becomes more interesting. Microplastics have been detected in many organs, including the brain, kidney, liver, lungs, heart, spleen, reproductive organs, and blood. Once these particles are inside the tissue, researchers believe they may be removed primarily by macrophages, which are immune cells, macrophages, the lymphatic system, and that's the system of lymph. So you want to support the lymph system through the process of the liver removing them, through biliary excretion, which does remove things from fatty stuff, kidney infiltration for the smallest of the nanoparticles that are circulating. It hasn't been shown to accelerate any of those pathways. The theoretical possibility that it gives us is that it can reduce the inflammation, it can improve our mitochondria, giving us more energy for our DNA rebuilding, support antioxidant defenses, and modulate the macrophage activity. If the goal is specifically enhancing, and I've talked about this before in the detox, which I did in much more depth. Guess what? One way I'm going to say from that, the answer is a big no on that one, Vixen. But one thing that will mobilize things out of fat stores, anybody guess? Exercise, sweat, go into a sauna, or exercise. That is one of the few ways that we can actually truly mobilize and break down fat stores. So imagine now you got this fat wherever it's at in your body. And when you break that fat down, and that's mostly going to be skeletal muscle and stuff, but when you break that down, that fat is broken down and releases those entrapped plastics. I'm telling you, plastics out of our fat stores are really hard to happen, really hard to attain. And that's why I'm so big on removing them from our diet, because it's an accumulation thing. I'm still fine with whatever plastics are in my body. Some will be removed out of the water, the hydrophilic organs and the blood and so forth. The fat, it will leave me with what's in my fat stores, my brain perhaps. But so far I'm doing okay. I haven't passed that tipping point to disease, okay? So for me, that's why I am cut the stuff out. Okay, let's see. So what else we have here? He's probably a clone like Biden. But oregano oil is great. Again, what you have to always look at, guys, this is important, because even when you buy oregano oil or any essential oils, you got to know how they were extracted. If they were chemically extracted, throw them out. They have petroleum distillates in them and hexanes and stuff like that. Throw that out. All kinds of contaminants, bleaches, if it was. So always ask with any of your oils, how was that oil extracted? Maybe someday we'll do an extraction of our own. I don't know. In the lab, not here at the Ex-Pharmacist, but in the Clean Living Lab. If you haven't already subscribed, this is how we're going to get through until the med beds go. So go to the Clean Living Lab. It will be in here. The link will be there. It's all over the place. It's at the top. It's in most of the videos, the link to the Clean Living Lab, or just ask and search the Ex-Pharmacist Clean Living Lab. But you want to go over there too, because I'm not putting all of my content on this channel anymore. I can't take the risk of doing content like this that's got me under the radar with YouTube and then putting all of my content on here. I want an alternative to go to, which is the health-related stuff, and not the so-called conspiracy theory stuff. Happy, you're right. It's all about frequency from the universe. You're on X now. Hopefully we'll get some more people on board with us. I am. It's going slow on X, although faster than most come. I have, let's see what I have here. Am I back on now, or I still have? Yeah, so it looks like it's displaying me. So on X, I've only got, wow. I got a lot more than I thought, actually, guys. I don't know where they came from, but I got 648 followers on X. And I've only been on there a short time, so I'm going to say 6-7 months or so. So that's not bad that I really haven't been advertising or trying to grow it. Okay. And then we'll detox. Well, let's see, make sure we got oil of oregano gets rid of my migraines. And okay, now we just learned about that within about 40 minutes. Why? It could be that your migraines are part of the inflammatory process, and it's cutting down those inflammatory signals. So that makes a lot of sense. We know that it's anti-inflammatory. That's great. I'm so happy for you. We know that it also cuts down inflammation. Something is going on with those migraines, which is causing an inflammation in your brain, causing pressure on the skull, causing pressure on different areas of the brain that it shouldn't, and so forth. So, and also on the circulatory system. So if your migraines are being done naturally like that, other guys, try it. Try oregano oil. Make sure it's cold pressed if you can, or at least expeller pressed. And Give it a try. Heck, will detox bath containing 2 cups of Epsom salt, soda, borax, bentonite clay beneficially draw out plastics, metals? No, because it can't ooze out of your skin. Okay, they're going to have to be removed internally through the kidneys and the liver, which is the primary ways. We do expire some toxins as well, but not nearly to the degree that we do with our liver and our kidneys. So soaking, what's it going to do? Ooze out of your pores, big pieces? No, that's not how this works. They don't come out of your bloodstream into the skin cells and then ooze out. So no, there's nothing. You can put black salve right on it. It's not going to pull plastics out. Now, black salve will, if you have a cut and you have aspirin and you have that glass that we talked about, because there is an opening in the skin, that black salve will pull that glass or plastic or whatever it is out. But if there's no openings, no, a soak will not do that. Okay, Epsom salts. Epsom salts are great stuff. Now, they are good for achy feeling, inflammation from the outside, more for the muscles. It is good for that. It's not as good, in my opinion, as taking an anti-inflammatory herb like the basil or the oregano and so forth. But it does help. And also, I put some lavender in there. I put some eucalyptus oil in there. All of these things that are in your medicines, menthol, peppermint, that you put in topical stuff, because there is an absorption of those things into the bloodstream. There's just no propulsion out of it or sucking out of it that goes in. So you can absorb things through the soak. You just can't push things out of the body in that manner. It's got to be removed through the liver and kidney or expiration, to the best of my everything I've ever learned. Okay, yeah, basically it's good for you, but doesn't draw out plastics. Exactly. Let's see. And then Happy says, you relieve the inflammation, you open up neural pathways that your body should flush better. And that's a good point. It's my, Happy, it's my belief that inflammation is the cause of nearly all disease. That this stuff that we've been taking, not only are they carcinogenic, but then we're taking all of this other stuff that causes inflammation and weakness in our own P53 system to fight cancers. Say they break down all of that stuff, so it literally destroys all of the mechanisms that we have. These toxins that we're taking in our food, the oils, the additives, the high fructose corn syrups, all of it, the plastics, all of it. They're just simply serving to harm the self-healing mechanisms and preservation systems that exist, that were created by the Creator. So I totally agree. If you've got inflammation, if you're sick and you got a problem, the first thing to do is address the inflammation. If it's topical, it can be something topically. It can be your soap, a laundry soap, or something in the air or whatever. But internal inflammation also for all of these diseases that people get are really, really important. And that's a really good point that you make. To open up your pathways, get away the inflammation, eat anti-inflammatory foods, and open up your pathways so you can flush better. How does one chelate copper? Well, I'm going to post, let me put, you can go to a doctor for chelation. And basically, I don't know if you've ever seen this. I'm going to link it. Boy, this is just so great, isn't it? Hold on. Let me go right here to the channel. I'm going to pull up and show you the X pharmacist. Boy, you guys are getting to see all my back end stuff here. Not my back end, you know what I mean. Content. Okay, and we're going to put detox. Let's see if that comes up. That doesn't come up. Metals. All right. All right. So what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to switch it now to the screen. Share the screen right here. All right. Now, what you should be looking at now is a video that I did that I will link, and it's the heavy metal detox. I don't sell you anything. It can all be done. And here's the thing. When we're looking at detoxing metals or anything, remember, They're all over your body. If you think that you can take some drink for 2 days and it's going to remove all of your body, it's just against biology. That's not how biochemistry works. So this actually, to get rid of heavy metals, is a long-term thing. And you don't have to buy anything. It's all done with diet and some supplements if you choose to take those supplements. And you can see here, phase 1, for the first week or 2, you eat lots of leafy greens, whole foods, cruciferous veggies, and berries. They're your antioxidants. And of course, you should be doing it anyway. Cut out all processed food. And then this gives you some supplements that you can use with it and to hydrate. And again, the exercise, sauna or exercise, 30 minutes, 3 times a week. And that's because we're trying to mobilize them out of the fat stores. Then it goes into the mobilization phase when it starts adding the healthier fats to replace them. That's avocado, olive oil. You're adding fiber to remove those through the liver and out the GI tract once you've got them mobilized. And then it gives you some other things. You can add garlic, cilantro, and so forth. Again, the hydration, the exercise never stops. And then there's optional if you want to go to a doctor and get EDTA, chelation, or something like that. I would try it this way first. I'm just not big on needles. I'm not big on going to anybody. And I understand there's naturopathic doctors, but nobody knows your body better than you guys. Nobody knows it. And then the elimination is week 7 to 12, where you'll start eliminating and understand that all of this bad stuff in our bodies makes us feel a certain way. Tim, so anyway, I'm going to go there, and that actually adds psyllium husks to start bulking up and removing that stuff, hydration. What I'm saying to you is that when people sell you this stuff, that's what they're doing. They're selling you stuff. They're selling you something, and you're really not getting rid of them. It's a long-term thing. It didn't happen overnight. We didn't become contaminated with these metals overnight. And copper, while generally healthy, can become toxic. You don't want to necessarily remove all copper from your body because it can be beneficial. But what you want to do is you want to be clean. You want to start loving your body and be clean. So that is the heavy detox, heavy metal detox, which I will put on there. Then we got to get outside, and that vitamin D. Yes, detox and sun and sweat our asses off. You're absolutely right. How do you get fat? Nothing goes into fat unless it's fat loving. So how do you get those things stuck? Imagine this ball of fat and all this stuff is stuck inside of them. There's one way, guys, and I don't care what Dr. Gundry or whoever it is tells you this supplement's going to do. The only way to get rid of that is to break that fat store down. And that reminds me, I got to get back on my exercising again. Let's see. So you're absolutely right there, Happy. Okay. And then, yes, we got to get, okay. Then Vixen says, and how can all olive oils in Sweden smoke when they say they only contain extra virgin olive oil? Have a very careful health department. So it shouldn't be possible. No, it shouldn't. What is your heat at? Remember, olive oil was one of the mono unsaturated fats, and that bond can be broken. So even though that's why you have to do it very low. Like I haven't forgot the brownie recipe for you, but you're going to die. It has to be cooked. I don't know if Timmy's on here because he makes it, but for me, but he has to cook it at like 200 degrees. And that's because you can't cook them too high. So the best thing there is if they're smoking, it sounds to me like that bond, that one mono unsaturated bond, that unsaturated bond, that is breaking down because of the heat. And that's what's going on. So lower your temperature and try it. Don't eat it because it's bad news, but lower your temperature and go to coconut or butter, which will not break down to harmful substances. So that's an option too. But if it's smoking and you know it's pure 100%, that's because the temperature is too high, not because necessarily you have a dirty oil. Okay. And so Donald says he's not on X, never have been. Only YouTube and Rumble. Also have Telegram, but hardly ever visit it anymore. Yeah, I was on Telegram years ago and got off of it because there were just so many loonies out there spreading so many lies, and there was no way to confirm it. I'm so careful about not propagating the disinformation. I am on the Rumble channel, so feel free to go there. I do have to say that I don't answer as often, Donald. Almost never, I have to be honest, on Rumble, because YouTube is my main focus. I have Rumble. I have quite a few videos on there, and that might narrow things down for you if you want to see some specific videos. But I am on Rumble if you want to go there as well. And I think 1 or 2 videos were there that that YouTube wouldn't allow me to upload. Letitia, black seed oil, which tastes like bug spray, gets rid of pain for me. Black seed, what kind of black seed is that, Letitia? What is black seed oil? I mean, it sounds cool enough. And the thing you have to watch with that, if it gets rid of it, it's extracted. Ah, okay. There you go. It's extracted so that you guys know. And let's do this since we're on it. We'll do the switcheroo here, guys. It's this one. Okay, so the black seed oil is extracted from the seeds of the Nigella sativa, which is a plant that's found native in Southwest Asia, Middle East, North Africa, and Southern Europe. It's been used for over 2,000 years, and that's the kind of stuff I like. It's not a brand new, miracle cure that they just invented that has been suppressed for years. I'll tell you what, everything, if you look into tradition, that's where you're going to find your true medicines. So it's actually used in Ayurvedic and so forth. So the major compounds in it, it's not the same as black pepper, so don't think that, is thymoquinone, which is a bioactive compound, anti-inflammatory, powerful antioxidant, blood sugar support, cholesterol and triglycerides. Blood pressure is a good one for that one. Meta-analysis suggests small reduction in both the systolic and the diastolic blood pressure in individuals. So that you understand the systolic, let's say let me bring you back here so I can talk to you. When we're talking about blood pressure, many of you may already know this, but some may not. The systolic is the higher number. The 120/80, that's the higher number. And that changes with stress. That's why when so many people go into the doctor's office, they're stressed out about getting their darn blood pressure. Tim demonstrated this himself when he got his CDL license, because he was concerned that his blood pressure had gone up and he wasn't going to be able to get his license renewed or have to get on some medicine, which he would never do. So the systolic is that high number. The 120s, allegedly, or higher, okay? Or lower too, but higher, it becomes a problem when you get over 140. So anyway, that's the systolic, but that one is transient, okay? That doesn't mean you have a heart problem. That lower number is the diastolic, and that's the one that indicates some kind of circulatory heart issue, the 80. It's okay for it to be slow. It can go a little slow, but when it gets under 50, now your heart's not beating fast enough, and there's a problem. So if your diastolic is elevated, then your diastolic pressure, then your heart isn't pumping as strong as it should. If it's the systolic, the higher number, then stress can do that. Salt can do that. Lots of things can do that. So this black seed, if you have high blood pressure, looks like it's something that could be beneficial as well. All right, let's real quick go back to that. Also antimicrobial. Again, and liver protection is a really good thing. I want to write this down. Maybe I'll do something separately on it for the lab, because I don't know if we can get it here. Again, the thing I'm going to say about that kidney production, brain health, animal studies suggest protective, neuroprotective effects through reduced inflammation, the oxidative stress. So the same thing as the oregano oil. And you can drink oregano too. It's just may not be. You got to remember, guys. Let's just pick the oregano, for instance. Eating oregano has got the oils in it, not as concentrated, but there's also benefits in the leaves themselves. Let's look at this. Break down the. I'm going to switch it over. Oh, I'm still sharing, so let's continue to stare. Break down the beneficial effects of oregano in both the oil and the whole leaves. My guess is going to be very similar. Okay, so the leaves are a food and herbal medicine containing hundreds of compounds. See where your oil doesn't have that. Oregano essential oil is highly concentrated, distilled, containing volatile oils that can be 50 to 100 times more. Leaves are the nutritional herb. Whole leaves, rich in the polyphenols, excellent antioxidant activity, anti-inflammatory effects, and these are like 4 and 5 stars on these. So this is really good. Cardiovascular support, 4 stars. Digestive benefits, 4 stars. Mild antimicrobial effects, 3 stars. Nutritional value, 4 stars, because the whole oregano also gives you fiber, manganese, vitamin K, iron, calcium, magnesium. When you typically eat only small amounts, regular use contributes to your overall dietary intake. So that's just like they've been feeding us the poisons in everything we eat. It accumulates, and that's the same as these do. Now, the oil is the most potent for its antimicrobial, antifungal. Remember the biofilm that we talked about, disrupting the biofilm of the bacteria, and the anti-inflammatory effects, anti-activity support, antioxidant activity, respiratory support. That's a different one. Respiratory support, it didn't say in the full thing, and the potential gut effects. What the leaves offer that the oil doesn't. And it goes down to the rosmarinic acid, the flavonoids, the polyphenol diversity. So it has more diverse polyphenols, and the oil is less suitable for the food use. What the oil offers that the leaves don't. A little bit of the carvacrol, the thymol. I would say it's definitely the oil is going to be stronger in the antimicrobial and antifungal for sure. Absolutely. And then the potency per drop, which is better. Long-term use, the whole leaves are usually the better choice because they provide a wide spectrum of the phytochemicals. For short-term, and this is how you should use it, if you have an active infection, then you might want to consider using them because of their concentration and they're more potent. But I can tell you this, it can irritate the gut as well. So if you use it often. So it's always better, in my opinion, guys, to eat the plants that Mother Nature put here. When man touches something, it turns to crap, guys. I'm just telling you. You buy it in a bottle, it's crap. You buy it in a box that somebody made. I don't have one here with me, but man has touched it. And I prefer to use as much as I can from the Creator. Keep in mind, when it's the leaves have many, many different alkaloids in them. Everybody, we've been trained so much to look for a cure rather than eliminate the cause of things. So when we look for a cure, we want something, boom, to knock it out of us rather than take our time, eating well, not eating the poisons and stuff and letting our body slowly take over while we're taking in the good stuff without more poisons. We want now. I'm going to tell you about a case I did one time. I know a lot of you, I'm good if you guys are, so just tell me when to shut up. Okay, so I did a case one time on a product called Cow's Head Tongue Chewy Pills. And what it was is it was an herbal remedy that was being sold all over, specifically in Asian grocery stores. So you go there, you think, oh, I'm getting good, healthy. Look at all these good, Chinese medicines. Well, what happened was it came to our attention because the media contacted our main office. I'll take these off a minute because I hate them. The media contacted our main office and said, can you please tell us, they took one of these products because what was happening is it was just helping people so greatly. And they said, can you tell me how an herbal product being sold in Asian food stores has got prednisone in it in therapeutic doses, right? 10 milligrams of prednisone in each pill. And if anybody knows anything about prednisone, you know how bad that is long term. It had indomethacin, Indocin. That's a long time anti-inflammatory, non-steroidal prescription anti-inflammatory. It also had Valium in it. Okay, the component of Valium, and it had a therapeutic dose of 5 it was either 2.5 or 5 milligrams in each tablet. And then it had one other, I forget the name of it. It was another non-steroidal inflammatory. So once the media came to us and exposed that it had these 4 prescription drugs in it, then of course the state mobilized immediately, right? If I had to go beg for it, it might not, but I was given a lot of freedom in what I investigated. It was prosecuting it. But once the media gets on it, I'll tell you, the government works quick. So, but that's assuming the media isn't working for their own side there. So we go around, we bust this product, and we set up a sting, and we took down a truck that was coming in full of this stuff. And this is how this store was working, right? People would get in a line and pay for this herbal remedy. Then they'd go around, they had their receipt, and they'd go out front and they'd wait for it to come off the truck, and they'd show their receipt and they'd get it. And the lines were unbelievable. When we took down that truck, people were throwing stuff at us, screaming at us. I've had this bursitis my entire life. This is a war wound. Nothing helps me like this. No remedy helps me like. Of course it doesn't, because it was not an herb. It was 4 potent prescription drugs that would knock a horse down. Okay, so yes, it's helping your pain, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing. And that's how I see. Don't ever trust anything. When man touches it, it's dirty. But let me tell you, when we busted, this was a nationwide thing. It got into other agencies when we took it down, and they went into other stores. When we busted this Asian man that was selling it, we noticed that we sent in undercover people to buy the product, right? And every person that we sent in that was non-Asian got the spiked product. Every Asian that we sent in there got clean herbs. It had none of those 4 prescription drugs in it, just herbs. And when we busted the guy, he's sitting there in handcuffs, right? And when we busted him, we said, what was the deal with that? Why were you only giving it to Americans, to non-Asians? The guy looked at us and he said, Asians know medicine take long time. Americans want quick fix now. If you are American, guys, that's you if you want the quick fix now. So I wanted to share that with you, because when you see all these supplements out there, don't go for the quick fix. Try to switch your thoughts, guys, and go for the long run, because you are the keeper of this body. And I don't care what you think and what anybody tells you, what any commercial tells you, what any drug company tells you. When you put those poisons into your body, it's not helping. It's also harming, even though if there's a transient benefit from it. So I wanted you guys to know that. Let's see. So Donald, high heat on the olive oil. Exactly. It's the heat, Vixen. You got to turn that way down. So, heat it up until before it starts smoking. Let's see. Okay. Now we're going to go to those beds in a second. 225 for 420. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, sweetheart. That was Timmy posting something. Oh, I know what he's saying, Vixen. He was saying that the temperature for the brownies, the marijuana brownies, they have to be cooked at 225. And the reason being is, just like it breaks down that mono saturated bond in the olive oil, it also breaks down the THC in the oils, the THC oils, what is it called? No, I forget. But the oil I told you about, you'll see all this when we do the video on it, how to make it. It's pretty cheap. and you can dose yourself with little bits. So that temperature, that's why you have to keep that temperature down, Vixen. 225 is a very good thing if you're baking with the olive oil. If you're cooking on the stove, you got to watch for that smoke and back it off, pull it off as soon as it starts to smoke. Don't let it do it. And back it down. Okay, let's see. Tastes like bug spray. I don't know if I want that one. That's where we got with Letitia. Okay, there's lots. You need to understand this. Imagine you are the creator. You've got this huge planet here, right? Some temperatures grow, some areas of the world grow certain things. Other areas grow different things. Other things are up in snow and they grow stuff that people in the tropics can't grow. There are many, many natural sources to treat everything, guys, to treat everything. So don't think the only thing that's going to work is oregano oil. The only thing that's going to work is basil. The only thing that's going to work. No, there's lots and lots and lots of stuff that take away inflammation. There's lots and lots of stuff that are pain reducing, are antioxidants. And the thing that I like is that when you're talking about the natural products and you eat the leaf instead of the oil, when you use that black oil or whatever oil you're using, it's the same thing. How was it extracted? If it was extracted with chemicals, those chemical residues remain in it and you're still ingesting chemicals. So just because it's oregano oil, the source is really important of how it was extracted. Or just because it's black seed oil, the source is how it was extracted. I'd say, I would imagine you can eat that black seed. It was an herb. If you come from that area, I don't know if you do, but if you come from that area, get that, here it is. Get that Nigella sativa, grow some in your little garden. It's a flowering plant. And look up how to prepare it. And maybe even just grate it and put it in your meal. Maybe it won't taste so bad like petroleum if you do it that way. So I'm big on natural instead of going out and buying all these prepared, contaminated things. Okay, so let's see where we go here. Donald's been making plant-based meds for years and never take any pharmacy drugs except and for an antibiotic. Exactly like me, Donald. But I'll tell you what, I eat my antibacterial herbs every single day. There's not a day that goes by without me eating basil, oregano, some kind of antibacterial herb. And I haven't needed an antibiotic in years. Another thing is, though, keep in mind your zinc. You want to eat things like pumpkin seeds with the zinc in them and products that have zinc in them because zinc also helps your immune system. So even if you're taking in antibacterial herbs, if your immune system is down for some reason, then you've got to boost that immune system back up again. And I like it with zinc. Zinc is an excellent way to do it. And I do it with, like I said, I eat lots of pumpkin seeds every day. You did the one that I had, Vixen? Wait. So, wait, you guys were talking among yourselves. Hold on. So I'm not sure. You'll have to tell me. You've done what and nothing was chelated. It's not going to be chelated. Chelation, you have to understand, is not excretion. It's something completely different. Okay, chelating is actually when it's bound to another molecule and pulled out. Okay, that would be like maybe in that particular, the elimination phase. The activated charcoal is a chelator. I mentioned that in there. It's a chelator. It attaches and then pulls it out the gut. So it depends on where they were and what. Are you saying you did this particular heavy metal tox for 7 to 12 weeks or 2 to 3 months? Vixen, I need a clarification on that. Okay, so let's see. Try and just eat. And I'm wondering, I know the concerns that you're searching desperately for this reason that you're having these cortisol type issues. But get to the organ. How do we know that it's copper? Has someone told you that? I'm not quite clear on that. You got to look at that. Try and just eat what is growing around you. Lots of fruits and veggies and fresh eggs. Totally agree. Any kind of inflammation. Now, of course, the eggs, I've never done much on this, but maybe you can tell me if you've researched this, Donald. Do the hormones that they feed the chickens that are under so much stress, do they get transferred into the egg? What came first, the hormones or the egg? I don't know. That would be an interesting thing to look at. Any kind of inflammation causes a cloggage. When you're clogged up, you don't heal. And that is true. Just imagine, everything is pushing on everything. I tell people that are overweight, that fat that is lining your body, that's pushing on your organs. Is it any wonder that they're not operating properly? Because if you're super overweight, and I don't judge anybody, it's the food supply, it's what they've done, taken away our exercise, it's everything, making life so autopilot, so to speak. And of course, we fell into it. But if you've got that much fat around under your skin there, that's pushing on all of your organs, just like Donald just said. When you have inflammation, it's pushing on everything, because whatever that is, whether it's a nerve or whatever, it's inflamed, and now it's hitting other stuff around it. So that's the inflammation is key, guys. It's key. Vixen, interesting. Fits perfectly with what my last natural doc said about having inflammation and a stagnant lymph drainage. Exactly. Now, also, we could always look into lymphatic drainage and things that might work that. But if you tried that detox and it didn't work, then I would say there's something else, because there's not going to be. I did a lot of homework on that one. You have to let me know if you tried that. Yes, when you're not copper toxic, copper's healthy. Okay, so she was going to something else that she did. But that was a long-term removal of the heavy metals. And that's the only way I can see it happening, because there's so many in so many parts of your body. If you take something 2, 3, even a week long, I don't see it coming out of the fat stores. And remember that just because you took one kind of tox, that when you start breaking down those fat stores, let's say if you were able to clean your whole body out and drain all of the water-soluble places that these toxins could hide, when you do break down some fat for whatever reason, you're going to be releasing. Hi, see Wolfie on the steps. Hi, Wolfie. You're going to be mobilizing those toxins out of the liver and out of the other fatty places in your body, the brain, wherever they went to. So again, they're going to now, at least they're out of the fat. That's a good thing, but they're going to show up in your bloodstream as well. So even if you clean your blood, the long-term issue is the fat. Okay, now, can the beds chelate copper? Let's talk about these beds right now. I had some comments on the channel that I don't think I made it clear what Dan was saying happens with these beds. I want you to stop thinking of the physical here and now. Stop thinking of this skin I'm pulling on right now that gets looser by the moment. Okay, stop thinking about that stuff. What you need to begin to identify is, you must begin to identify yourself as light. Okay? Because that's what you are. You are, and I've heard this many times before, it's in the Army Gateway Experience. I've put that so many times. If you want me to link that again, I will, if you're going to read it. But the Army knows it. The CIA knew it. We are light beings. We are holographic projections of light. And that makes this bottle, that makes this paper. They're all projections. Just because we can pick them up doesn't mean that they're not light. They are a manifestation of light. We are holographic projections. So stop thinking that there's this knee implant that I got and what's going to happen to it, okay? What's going to happen to it is you're simply going to project a different picture down that you manifest. I don't know if that's clear or not. So when you say, well, the beds chelate copper, no, the beds won't chelate copper. What the bed will do is it will project the proper conformation of your light being onto you. And if that has high copper that was not healthy, that's a gone thing, because that picture was just pulled out of the scenario. That leg that got shot off, okay? That manifestation, that projection of you is being moved, and a new projection is coming down on you. So you don't have to break down stuff. You don't have to worry about, you are simply projecting the healthiest image of every cell in your body that can be projected. Remember what it said. I don't know if maybe some of you guys didn't see this. What Dan told me was that the holographic camera goes in. It takes, boom, one picture of you. And that holographic camera takes a picture, a different slide throughout time of you, right down to your conception. So now you have all these slides loaded there, and you can pick any slide. Do you want the slide when you had that kidney infection? And I don't know what was on there, but do you want the slide when that kidney infection was with you? No, we don't want that slide. Do you want the slide when you broke your ankle? And that's going to now project onto your ankle? No, we don't want that. So it goes through, and that camera takes slides of every DNA formation of every cell in your body at different times. Then it goes and it creates a new image of every cell in your body that is projected onto you. Now, if you ever looked at my videos on med beds and how they worked from my studies with the Gateway Experience, you will learn that the brain has something known as frequency following and a mimic, okay? It has the ability to mimic what it sees. So when that is projected onto you, that perfect now, that new perfect, I don't want to say AI, but it's almost like it, but it's not, I don't want to convolute it with that. But when it took the slides of every piece of cell in your body and put the perfect ones in there to make this new picture of you that it projected onto you, it's now your brain that is following that projection, that frequency projection. It's mimicking what it's seeing. And if there's more damage that had to be occurred, it might take longer. If you are not a kind of person that operates in a coherent way in your normal daily life, where you use both sides of your brain equally, then it might take a little longer. And that's the fluctuation in time. But nothing's breaking down inside of you. Nothing has to be removed after you have your medbed treatment. Your body has a new picture that's projected onto you, and that now your brain mimics and becomes. Does that make it a little clearer for you guys? I don't know. Happy says, that's right. It's forever work in progress. Exactly. You've got it right, Happy. It's an ongoing thing, and I wish, imagine if we could do this all over again. Imagine with our children, if we could start our children never having these poisons in their body. Just amazing. Well, Reppy, I don't know, but I am told that I am. I'm told by somebody that I trust. Susan Nachman, she tells me that I am a star seed. What I can tell you is that I have no memory of my childhood, that I was born on a military base in 1954 when the Nazis were installed in our military bases. I was put into Catholic schools my whole life. I have no independent memory except for a couple things. And one of them is that I was taught piano lessons inside the convent. And I looked up my particular school that I went to, and it said that that was almost unheard of, that the convents were, and I distinctly remember being in that convent, and one time even sneaking to the drawers of the nun that was teaching me when she wasn't there, and I was waiting for her to come to see what kind of underwear she wore if they were black. So I was in Catholic schools my entire life. My memory came back in 10th grade when my parents moved to Florida and I was taken out of Catholic schools. However, when we moved to Florida, Dr. Sherman Pace, who delivered me on Fort Bragg Army Base, had a practice that was, I'm going to say, about 3 miles from our home. Now, how does that happen? You're born in North Carolina. The doctor, the very doctor that delivered you, is there, right? I have this penchant for water and Lemurian sounds and frequencies. So personally, I believe that I had some past life. I've been told that I'm a starseed. I never looked into it, and it doesn't matter. I do what I was born to do. That's all I know. What I can tell you is I know in my heart that everything in my life, from my Tai Chi studies to my energy transfers in Tai Chi that I studied, to my militant little teenage years when I believed that the votes were rigged back then, everything has led me to where I am right now. To my getting involved with Q, to on and becoming a pharmacist, then becoming an investigator. Everything was a background that just blossomed when I went through what people call a 4D experience, which was a very traumatic time in my life that often propels us up. So am I a starseed? I guess maybe I am, huh? Okay, Vixen. So too high heat. Yep, we're back to that. Okay, Vixen, Donald says he wears copper every day. And he made copper rings and bracelets for other people. Wow, 66 and no medical issues. Perfect. I'm 71, Donald, and no medical issues, no chronic. The thing is, when you get on the drugs to begin with, I went into the hospital twice in my life for myself. Once was when I had my daughter, and of course I had prenatal care at that time. And then after I became a pharmacist and learned how bad the drugs were for you, when I saw all the side effects and stuff, and I'm not saying they don't cure things. Well, they don't cure things. I'm not so sure they don't alleviate or ameliorate some things. They do. But I went into this on a chat that I had. The reason, according to the law, that pharmaceutical manufacturers are exempt from, let me find that so I can absolutely tell you the right thing. The reason they are exempt from liability with on vaccines is the law says, here you go, the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986, okay? It was created under the truth that adverse side effects are unavoidable. The law says it. Adverse side effects are unavoidable. So they know you're going to get side effects, right? Yet people continue to take them. The fact is that if they extrapolate that argument to all drugs and not just vaccine, they would technically not be liable for any drug damages at all. So they could technically, what they're telling you is, they're telling people side effects are unavoidable, guys. You're going to get a side effect from them. It's unavoidable. If you keep it up long enough, you take it long enough, there's going to be a side effect. Do people understand that? Adverse effects are unavoidable. This is something I wrote on X. If you take any drug, expect something bad to happen from it. Unfortunately, if you're already taking them, something bad can sometimes happen even if you stop. So you must stay on it. Your body adapts, okay? And this is the thing you have to understand. If you've been on these drugs, that your body then adapts to the state that it's been living under, which is the input of these drugs, right? And it adapts. And when you stop that or withdraw that, your body is like freaking. It's like, oh, my world has changed. My house has changed. Where do I find this? Where do I find that? So it adapts to the constant influx of any particular substance, whether it's oils, whether it's anything. It's going to, even herbs, it's going to adapt. When you remove it, your body must adapt to not having it now. It should be often done very slowly and with medical supervision. And that's like with things like beta blockers and stuff that can cause real problems if you abruptly stop it. A lot of things you can abruptly stop, a painkiller, unless you're addicted to it, and then you're going to have all the effects that painkiller is covering up, which is stomach pain, diarrhea, blah, 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 blah. You'll get diarrhea because the constipating drug is out of your system now. So when you stop something, your body has to adapt to know something, whatever that is, not having that thing. Okay. It gets better though. So you have to sometimes to get off drugs slowly and do it with medical supervision. So find a good naturopath or a holistic doctor to help if your doctor won't help you. I say if your doctor won't let you get off drugs, get a new doctor, guys. Get a new doctor. But it gets better, and here it is. Due to their concern for the welfare of the people, the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program was established to offset the damages from the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. Okay? So they created the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. And that was established as a no fault. It's not the drug manufacturer's fault because they pretty much told you it's unavoidable. It's a no fault federal compensation system. But get this, it's paid with excise taxes that are paid by distributors who ultimately pass the cost to customers. So the victims have to compensate themselves under the disguise of a caring government who's skimming off expenses for you to pay for your own damages. It's all beautifully designed to screw you. And I said, what kind of mind hates humanity so badly that they promote something that can unavoidably harm you and then make you pay for their negligent non-disclosure and breach of fiduciary duty? So, and then keep in mind, these laws and programs were written by your leaders in Congress. Insane. Why would they do that? And I put $, $. The money train is being stopped, guys, on numerous tracks. It's a long journey, but we're pulling into the station. It's just absolutely insane what they've done to us. So that's where I stand on that part of it. That, yes, you get on drugs, you're going to have to get off of them. And if you don't, you could die on those drugs. And every side effect mounts on top of another one. And then you have something else wrong. And then you're kidding. Happened to my ex-husband. He was on Prilosec. He was a diabetic, a juvenile onset diabetic. But he was taking Prilosec like candy. His kidneys failed. Okay? So now he's destroyed his kidneys. I went and looked for him because we were already divorced at the time. And I told him, you got to get off the Prilosec because guess what? One of the number one popular side effects is kidney failure. He died of kidney failure. So it wasn't the ailment of his stomach problems that he had or even his diabetes that killed him. It was a side effect from the Prilosec that destroyed his kidneys, which eventually failed on him. Let's see. Copper is, okay, so Vixen's been doing a lot. We don't give the chickens, oh, so you do your own chickens, Donald. How cool. That is very cool. My daughter tried that, but she lost every one of them. Poor little guys died. And so it sounds like you've got your own garden. That's what Dan did too. He had his own garden, he did it hydroponically mostly. And then Vixen says, yes, copper is encapsulated by calcium, called a calcium shell, okay? And I tried for 1 year last time, no results. I took several hair analysis that showed of a very high copper, and otherwise my body was super clean. Wow, so you've got high copper. Okay, so the thing what I'm going to say here is, if you've got calcium, what I have used before with my dad when he had stones, and there's different types of stones. Keep that in mind. But what I did, and we talked about this in the last one too, I had him take a shot of Bragg's vinegar with olive oil, EVOO, and I had him take those shots 3 times a day. And it was the acidity that broke down the stones. Have you tried looking at breaking down that calcium shell with some sort of acidic, maybe vinegar? We talked about there's different kinds. I don't have my notes right here with me because Bragg's has been taken over by Katy Perry et al., I guess. But there's other brands that are good that you guys have talked about. Have you tried something like that? Taking and just doing some, trying to break down that calcium. Let me look at anything I can find on how to break down calcium, if that's the copper. And then, so possibly, let me look at that. Calcium on copper elimination. Okay. Let's see what we can find. We'll do that privately, and I'll do some running from you on that. Okay. Meow. I know you saw him, didn't you? Oh, he's right there next to me. He's a one-eyed kitty. Wolfie. Show everybody your one eye, sweetie. There, he showed you his one eye. I don't know if you can see him, but he's got one eye. His left eye is a good one. That's my meower. Yes, we are all sacred divine energy of God's life light. And we are transforming, ascending to crystalline structure. Exactly. So you guys hear all this stuff about, oh, be the light. I love the light. I love this. This is real stuff, guys. We are projections of life. We are projections of the Creator. So keep that in mind when you think what the med beds can do. Boom. They're just going to put a different slide on for you, a different projector, and a new movie happens. And that is a movie of health in our perfect, pristine condition. The problem with copper is that the body protects the metals with a calcium shell, and that's very hard to break down, same as with breast implants. The body forms a calcium shell around those as well. So you've got a high copper. One thing to look at too, Vixen, is you've tried the zeolites for years, okay, and the zinc. Have you also done, well, I think it's more, like you said, in your particular case, if you're high in coppers, I would look to your diet and say, what is creating those, what is putting those coppers in me? Something, you're getting copper somewhere, sweetheart. What is putting copper in? So the first thing to do is we shut that off. We find out what could potentially be it. We shut that off. And then we look at breaking down the calcium that's there. And maybe they'll start eliminating themselves. The body has an amazing ability that once we clean it up, to start working its own mechanisms. Okay, got it. Try super hot bath soak, 2 cups baking soda, Epsom salt, borax, and the clay. Okay. Okay, so Vixen says she tried the Epsom salt baths for 3 years. No chelation, but they did loosen up her muscle tightness. Yeah, and that's what they'll do. Anywho, I understand it as the med beds, realtor our DNA, realign, or realter our DNA. Exactly. But keep in mind, let's shift that thought 1 second, Vixen. It doesn't alter the fixed DNA cells that are there, the DNA in our cells that are there. It doesn't alter them. It gives us new ones. It projects a whole new one onto us. That maybe a little clearer, okay? The drugs only mask the issues. Exactly. What's my meme say? I got a meme that says, I'll show it to you. Hold on. I love this now that I've found this projection thing. Open file. Go here. There you go. Here's what I have to say to you about that one, Donald. A patient cured is a customer lost. Remember that, guys. You are customers. That's why nothing is ever healed. None of these chronic diseases, very rarely are they truly healed. They're managed, but they never really get to the root that's causing the problem. A patient cured is a customer lost, guys. If you don't know anything else, know that. Okay. Happy says, yep, the demon baddies damn well know they're poisoning us. Not only do they know it, they created it by design, in my opinion. None of this. When you look at how FDA is structured, I have sat on curriculum planning boards before for colleges where we decided what to teach the people in that program. In this case, it was a pharmacy tech program. industry was all on that board. I was the only non-industry, and I was government. So industry is deciding what they teach you. It's deciding what drugs are approved. When you go to FDA and there's a approval panel, you can bank. And this was before, and I've checked this since Trump came on. The panels that I have checked had only one industry expert on them out of about, say, 6 or 7. They used to be populated with 4 or 5 industry experts. So Pfizer, if Pfizer had a drug that wanted to be approved, they wanted to get approved, they had their own people. They weren't necessarily employed with them, but their own experts that did the research for them, that took money from them to do the initial research, that perhaps got stock. They have an interest. And those FDA panels, approval panels, were populated heavily with industry experts. I checked when Trump did that executive order on the hallucinogens for post-PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. And I deliberately went because I was worried about this. I didn't like it. I didn't like who propelled that thing because they used those hallucinogens in MK Ultra, and I didn't like the person that pushed it onto Donald Trump. But I wanted to make sure that it was covered. And so I went to the approval panel to see who would actually say who could get these hallucinogens for their and the research, the programs that are going on, the studies. And there was only one industry person in the new Donald Trump or RFK FDA. And that is huge, guys. It's huge. It meant so much to me. Happy says, here's another thing. Long-term use of ingesting and using chemicals will descend your spirit. Yep, in your frequency. Look up the word pharmacia. Wake up. Exactly. And let's do that for people. This has gone around a long time, but I spelt it wrong, but I think I'll get the answer anyway. Yeah, it's a Greek word. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. So pharmacia is a Greek word that translates to sorcery or witchcraft in the Bible. It's often associated with the use of drugs for both medicinal and harmful purposes. It's the root of the word pharmacy, which refers to the preparation of dispensing medicines. We know that. So imagine that, guys. I spent my whole life in a career of sorcery and witchcraft because that's what it means. Good observation. Good input there. The doctors don't care about you. You're only a number. They care about their pocketbook number. I say some happy, not all. I can't say all are. I'm not going to bash every physician in the world. But what I can say is they become cold, complacent, and they stop searching. They believe what they hear. They don't realize that everything, even when that doctor's out of school and he's been taught nothing but what Big Pharma created on those curriculum planning committees, once they're out of school, they still have a continuing education that must be done on an annual basis, right? That continuing education, guess where you get those programs? The drug companies. And they do them free for you, so you don't even have to pay for it. So everything that doctor knows, unless he goes out on his own, when he receives a free lunch and they come in with a continuing education, I remember the days when we'd go out and we'd have a no-holds-barred dinner at one of the most expensive places in town when I worked at Moffitt Cancer Center. There was 26 of us. And I think actually even the technicians went. So that meant there were 26 pharmacists, I think, and that many technicians. That bill must have been phenomenal. We were all drinking. We were eating the most expensive things. That was what the drug companies used to do. Now they have to bring you in a lunch and do a little presentation, but the bottom line is they still can brainwash the professionals. So those doctors, some think they're doing right, but I can tell you what, anyone that gave those shots for any period of time more than the first month, and better yet, let me go beyond the shots, okay? Anybody that told you to put a mask on knew right from the start what they were doing. And if he didn't, he should have. Any practitioner knows your body is full, your whole upper GI tract is full of normal bacteria that live there that are supposed to be healthy. When you put that mask on your face, you can't expire them out, and they just multiply inside of you. They move down to your lungs and they cause pneumonia. That was a deliberate, engineered consequence of putting those masks on 24/7. And I know for a fact because Fauci did a study on the effects of the masks of the earlier pandemics. There were 4 of them that he studied. And the ones that had the masks had like negligible deaths. The ones that didn't have the mask, I'm sorry, where a mask was not mandated, there was negligible events, deaths. When they mandated the masks, it was another COVID, death after death after death. Everybody knows the mask caused that migration down there. And then, God forbid, what was in the vaccine? We don't know. So I can't say that all doctors don't care about us. I'm not going to say that. But they are more concerned about, they get burnt out like everybody does, and they don't step outside. They don't color outside the lines. Let's say that. Happy says, do your research. Rockefeller gasoline oil equals RX medication. My Happy's TV YouTube playlist discloses a lot of this wrongdoing. Okay, feel free to go to his playlist. Again, I don't, until I've seen something, I don't really promote it, but everybody's free, of course, if you want to check it, and then ask me if you want. Yeah, it was Rockefeller that needed to sell his oil and crash his natural care with his bought media saying it was all, yeah, that is true. I've heard that as well. Bow Wow, we got kitties and Bow Wows. Where's Bow Wow? Is he around? Pico, where's Pico? Pico need a treat? All right, so let's see. Then, yes, Rockefeller and Big Pharma are all Nazis and mad scientists, reported from Germany. 25 years ago, the chemo took my dad. I'm sorry, Donald. He was convinced that it was safe. Now, here's one thing I'm going to say. No, it's not safe, okay? But my sister has cancer right now. Dan Willis died from cancer, which I personally, I'm not saying I know this, but I personally believe it was done with some kind of energetic type weapon. But if someone has cancer, and especially if it's an aggressive one, okay, if it's an aggressive one, knock it the heck out any way you can, because you can then remove those chemos. But as soon as you knock it out and get clean, change everything about your lifestyle that caused that cancer. So I'm not adverse to chemo because it's one, not all of them, but some of them grow very rapidly. And as we talked about, nature take a long time. So if you've got an aggressive cancer, I personally believe that to take the chemo that's recommended. I only, if I ever had it, would only go to Mayo Clinic because in my practice, I saw, I'm going to say close to 100 patients that were given misinformation by local institutions, and they went to Mayo Clinic. Some of them were selling their jewelry because they thought they were dying. And this one lady thought she had a brain tumor that was inoperable. It was benign, and it was operated on at Mayo Clinic. So I can only tell you that it's the Disney World of Disneys. I can't tell people never to take chemo because if you have an aggressive one, nature's not going to work that quick. But they are not safe. They are a temporary fix for you to change what caused it. Benjamin Rothschild died a few years ago. He was said, something came up, to be Pindar, the highest head among them. I don't know about Benjamin. I always heard about what's his name? Rothschild. Amstel. Was it Amstel? Amstel. No, that's a beer. Let's see what I come up with. The beer. Amschel Rothschild. Now, he lived from 55 to 1996, and he's the one that's usually, but there was already a banking family. You're absolutely correct. He was part of that banking. Mayer Amschel Rothschild. I think he's associated with it because he did those eyes. He had that famous Eyes Wide Shut event that he did where all the wackos were doing their weird stuff. I don't know. Again, there was years ago. What I can tell you is I went down all of those rabbit holes that you're talking about, the Rothschilds and all of that stuff, back in about 2005. So it's been 20 years now. So 20 years ago, I went down all those rabbit holes, and the Masons, all of it. Suffice to say, I got real sick from all of the darkness that I was surrounding myself with. I wasn't happy, and I literally collapsed. And my view and the way I handle it now is, like I said, I know there is unimaginable evil. I know that unimaginable evil has built a control structure matrix where they control us through every piece of our infrastructure that exists. And that control matrix, those systems and their subsystems, each must be taken down. And I see them being taken down now because we're using the same techniques, money, that they used to create that structure and build all of those people, build the medical system, build the food supply, build the electric, build all of the stuff, build the communications. They built it with incentives right here. And most of them were probably money, but there were many more incentives. Who knows what? But I'm happy knowing that, because when you go down those rabbit holes, it becomes dark. I have changed my focus, and my focus now is not on what happened to us, but changing it for my own self and the rest of the world, if that makes sense. Sorry about that, Donald. Yes, chemotherapy killed my father too. It actually kills all of your cells. It doesn't kill all of them, and I haven't found the validity that it's a parasite yet. What I can tell you is I believe there's a parasitic component of it. I think more than anything, what it does is, if you're not familiar with the P53 system, check it out. The body has its own ability to fight cancer, and it's known as tumor protein P53. And it is a tumor suppressor gene. It's a gene that we have in us. And there are foods that suppress that, not foods, toxins that suppress that gene. And I'm sure there's lots and lots of them. So I don't want to say it's the parasites, because our body can fight off parasites. I want to say that our body has been suppressed and damaged, and that's why we can't fight off the cancer that we normally could, because all of us have cancer cells in us all the time, and they can be turned off and they can be turned on. And that's a scary thing. But if you live in unity with the universe, those cells won't turn on. You live in a high frequency where your body is taking you to a place of healing. If you don't put poisons that are destroying your own immunological systems that heal you, then you're not going to get it. It's coming from somewhere, guys, and it's not just parasites. Look at, I could show you a list right now. I could create a list of 50 things that we know are carcinogenic. So I don't understand how these people say it's only parasites. No, it's not only parasites. It's the chemicals. The same people that say it's parasites say, oh, but you shouldn't have Roundup because of the not phospholipids, you know what I'm talking about. Well, which one is it? Is it the parasite, or is it the poisons in the bug spray? You know what I'm saying? You can't have both. It's not only parasites. There's many reasons we get cancer. And in my opinion, the reason we get it is because we've shut off our own ability to heal ourselves. And parasites are one way of doing it. But I believe all of that cancer is a parasite stuff. Take ivermectin. Ivermectin is a drug. Who hates Big Pharma so much that they push another drug on you? I don't understand it. Do people understand that ivermectin is made by a pharmaceutical manufacturer? by Big Pharma. I don't care if it's veterinary. I don't care if it's not. There is veterinary medicine that's regulated by FDA. Ivermectin is regulated by FDA. It's made by a manufacturer. So again, pick a side, guys. If they're trying to tell you to take drugs, then they're on the wrong side. You're either going natural and you're getting away from Big Pharma, or you're taking drugs. You don't do both. And either there's toxins in our food supply, or only parasites are causing it. I find them to be, those kind of things, to be deliberate disinformation that we talked about. The limited hangout. They're telling you, yes, parasites can cause cancer. Yeah, I'm sure they can. But what they're not telling you is so can 1,000 other things. Ivermectin may have efficacy. They're telling you that, and that's correct. What they're not telling you is it also has side effects, and it's made by Big Pharma. I gave it to my dog when she had cancer, and she started shaking like this, and I looked it up, and one of the major side effects was neurological disruption. So when we say that, I'm just saying I think these narratives are by some darker people. Thank you, my love. Tim sent me a message. He picked up some stuff for me. And so that's kind of how I feel about that. And I don't blame anybody. We're all trying to find our way through this. But I'm just saying, let's put our thinking caps on. If Roundup and all of these poisons that we know about, the hydrocarbons and stuff, if all of those things are causing cancer, then it's not only parasites, right? That's just somebody, and I'll bet you $1 to a dozen. Whoever's telling you parasites are doing it somewhere have got some interest with selling some kind of cleanser for the parasites. Whether it's, I don't know what it is, but usually they have some kind of interest in it. So it can't be, and no. And the stem cell activation patches, again, they're being made, they're man-made. Go to the creator, my guys. Go to the creator. It's only there that you'll find your medicine that won't harm you. We talked about those stem cell activation patches before. And I don't know which ones they are, but I know that the Life whatever ones are going around now. Been there, did it, got the t-shirt, okay? Life Wave, okay? Now everybody's on the bandwagon. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was approached by people. They dogged us to market them. I looked at them, and if you look at the possibility of crystals, that there's crystals embedded, it made sense. It made sense. But again, crystals aren't going to heal you overnight. It's a long-term thing. I'm not saying don't get those patches. I'm just saying I chose, instead of using those patches, and I never used them because I wanted to get somebody's response. And I got one. The one girl that bought those patches from me died of cancer after using them for 3 months. And then the people with LifeWave never gave me the commission. Not that I cared, but that told me right off the bat what I was dealing with. I was dealing with car salesmen that were heavy, pushing. They had all these high sales tactics. So if you want to get them. That's everybody's business and everybody's right. But I can't promote them any longer. I'm waiting for my galactic quantum med bed. Aren't we all, Mark? Aren't we all? Okay, and then here we go about, about beta blockers. I had that for tachycardia. Yep, you will. And it made me a zombie while having no effect on my heart. So I went online and I was told to get magnesium, which after 3 hours made my heart beat normally. So that was my introduction to the natural care. Good. I hope that you tapered off of them. And if you didn't, you were lucky, because you could have gone into just the opposite, fibrillation, by removing them. Vinegar and olive oil. No, haven't tried that. So, and you got to drink copious amounts of clean, not water in plastic jugs, copious amounts of water with lemon in them, filtered water with lemon. I'll tell you right now, I use the Berkey. I'm trying to get one up with options, but I use the Berkey filter, which is a gravity one. It removes most of the, but not all of the plastics. It removes most of them. It removes almost all toxins that I have found. It doesn't require electricity, and you can use water from anywhere, a pool, a lake, whatever, if your water shuts off. I use it because it has, for a long time been my emergency water supply. It's called the Berkey filter system, and it's great. Let's see. So you got that. You got the shot of the Bragg's or whatever other one now, since Katie seems to own that and her group. Little shot, little glass like this, about a teaspoonful, not much. Then some olive oil. Drink it. 3 shots a day. Just swallow it down and drink lemon water all day long. Okay, and that changes the acidity, the pH, and that will hopefully. Let's see if. Before I tell you that, let me real quick see if will acid break down calcium. Yes. Okay, but it depends on the form of calcium. So calcium carbonate, blah, 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 it readily dissolves it. Calcium in bones and teeth. So I'm assuming it does not destroy it. So, okay, so it says it's an element, so it won't destroy an element. What it will do is it'll break it down and turn it into something else. But that's okay for your purposes, Vixen. You want to break it out and you want to flush it out. So I give that a shot. Okay. Yes, Happy. I take ivermectin every 3 or 4 days. No worries about parasites. Okay, well, that is certainly your choice. Pharmacia, it's in our faces. Most chemicals and toxins cause parasites, only treat our bodies. Well, let me tell you this. Here's one for you, Happy. You eat parasites every day, probably. And let me tell you how. Let me give you a list real quick. What products contain parasites? Okay, here you go. Animal products. I'm looking for the please clarify food additives. Okay, so I'm going to switch this over for you guys. When you say that you have parasites and they're causing everything, try not eating them, okay? The big thing is they say no parasites, but this one does say it, but you're eating bugs, okay? The carmine, the red dye, many sites I've seen said they're crushed cochineal insects, which are parasites. So insects are parasites in many ways, right? So it's a matter of terminology. Let's say insects, okay? Shellac. That's an insect resin. Gelatin has got cow or pig collagen. Let me see. Many food additives are produced using microorganisms such as bacteria, yeast, molds. Examples include, and they show what they are. Now, of course, they're talking about reputable food manufacturing. Contamination with parasites is considered extremely unlikely by the food manufacturers because the ingredients are purified. So they take them out and produced under strict food safety standards. All of that, I can tell you, I don't trust one dime of it. There's some emerging research suggesting that certain additives can alter the gut microbiome or the intestinal barrier in ways that could theoretically influence susceptibility to infections, but the evidence is still developing. So what I'm saying to you is when you eat those processed foods, and how they're telling you to eat bugs now. Bugs are parasites in many, many cases. So it may not say it, but maybe think about cutting some of the additives and chemicals, processed foods out is the way I look at it. Okay. What caused the copper was we grew up on brownish red water from our own well. The entire family got sick. One of us died. Wow. My mother was born with brain damage and so on. That is horrible, isn't it? Wow. And then Happy says, statistics are revealing that diseases and parasites can be relieved substantially. Okay, what I would say to that, I haven't got that. Simply getting out in the sun. Here's the thing, Happy. Show me the links. Show me those statistics. Not somebody posting it, because I don't ever look at that. I am always happy to research something that's emerging that I might not have come across. But what I can tell you is that I do not push anything or make any conclusions, let's say, about anything until I've seen the study. And let me tell you why. A man was recently on X. I think I told some of you guys about it. He's a big influencer on X, a pharmacist, right? And he went on to talk about a study where he found that ivermectin cured cancer in numerous types of cancer. And okay, I've heard this one before. Let me take a look. So I looked at the study, and I'm happy. This is on my X if you're on there. I think I posted it. Where's my, yeah, there I am. I post so many there that, gonna just give me a second here to look at it. News, count 11. I post so many. Anyway, when I went and looked at the study that he was using to make a pharmacist, a master in pharmacy, he was using to make this statement, I went back to the studies, and what I learned is in the study, the way it was set up is it was done via telemedicine, and the responses were self-reported. So this is, you're on telemedicine and your cancer is getting better. Your scan got better, or maybe your lump is getting smaller or whatever. And you are self-reporting to this study that, by the way, was conducted by the man that was pushing this, the pharmacist that was pushing it, him and 5 other researchers. And when I checked the affiliations of these researchers, they were all selling the supplement that they were pushing on you to remove these, okay? So I just want you to know that you need to go to the study itself. So these were self-reported people saying, it cured my cancer. And the second, which is completely, that would never work in a true study. There's things known as the placebo effect, which we know. If our brain, this is the same effect as the med beds. If our brain believes we're being healed, it's going to heal it, right? It's going to project that healthy image onto us that we're seeing. So it's never, a self-reporting is no study. Any real scientist knows that's absolute crap. So then I read further down in this study, and not only was it self-reporting and not a double-blind study, that the people were, some of them were still on chemo, some of them were on radiation, some of them were on other supplements of sorts, and some of them were only on the ivermectin. How do you say something's cured from the ivermectin, that it's curing the cancer, when they're on chemo and radiation also? How do you pick and say, oh, it was definitely the ivermectin that did it? That was the most bogus study I ever saw. So all I'm saying, guys, is just as you've seen a lot of lies coming from all over, you're also seeing a lot of lies coming from the truther community. Please, please remember that. I got nothing to gain by this, guys. I'm not selling you anything. And like I said, maybe I am a starseed. Maybe that's why I'm so dumb as to do this and put so much work into it for nothing. That's what Tim used to say, but now he's beginning to understand that it's my purpose. So when you quote those things, put your face up in there and say it. You got a link to the study? Read it. If you don't understand it, ask me in any comment anywhere. You don't have to only comment on the video that's there. I get to those comments as often as I can, and the new ones are always there. If I missed it, comment again on any video. What do you think about this study? Is this a legit study saying this? And I'm happy. Always just kindly say, can you please give me a link to that study? Because there's a lot of bad medicine. Just like COVID and all the experts there, there's a lot of bad experts out there. So I don't want you to be fooled, and I don't want you, God forbid, to be in a situation where you have a cancer and you're not getting treatment that you know will knock the heck out of it, and instead you're trying to do it with ivermectin. The only reason I used the ivermectin on my little doggie was because she was in remission, and they had, against both my vet, my oncology vet, and me, they, in a kennel, she had to go into a kennel, and they gave her a rabies shot. I picked her up 2 days later, and she was covered in lesions all over her body, and she never came out of it again. So that is why I tried it, and that's when she got the shakes and stuff. I'm just saying, it's a drug. It's big pharma. Do what you want with it. It's not natural. I don't care what bug they says it comes out of. I can promise you they are not getting that drug, that ivermectin, out of any natural microorganisms. They are synthetically creating it. It has removed anything beneficial in the natural product, if there is such one, if there is one that is intended for medicinal purposes. And it's got all kind of contaminants in it because of the extraction methods that they use to extract or synthesize the drug. So I'm just saying, if it's a drug, guys. There's no way around it. Okay, so is in our faces, most chemicals and toxins cause parasites, only treat our bodies. All right, what caused the copper? Okay, we got that. All right, and then, like I said, can substantially be relieved by getting out in the sun, soaking up the healing energy. I want to see them. I want to see the studies. Post them. Post every one of them, and I'll look at them. I'll be happy to look at them for you. Mystifying Mark, what are you with these little pictures, Mark? The rabbit hole. I love it. Okay. Go down that hole of knowledge. Yes, research. Got to go down that hole of knowledge. Get his little icons. He loves those icons. They slow me down, so I don't usually use them, but I also can't use them in the interface that I answer you guys with. The money creates a slave-driven. Now, bingo, Happy. You're right on there. The money creates a slave-driven system of division, war, greed, and murder. And you're absolutely right. Mark is into them, too. Mark's got something coming out of his mouth, talking to a skeleton with a satellite and a brain. I was never good. What was that game that did that? And then I guess that's a satellite energy, a person's brain getting fried in energy. I'm getting pretty good at this. Yes, our stem cells, life light must activate, turning on, including mitochondria, yes, and all cells in the body. When the switch turns on, to play toxins can go away. Sounds like maybe Pindar came after the Amshell guy. I don't know. I don't know the dates. Like I said, it's been decades since I went down that rabbit hole, and it wasn't something that I really tried to remember or that I want to remember even. I want to focus where my energy, and don't you have to wonder that all of these people that post all of this stuff about the Freemasons and the Vatican, and I can promise you, they're all true, okay? They're all true. Many of them are true. All that stuff that happened, what is that doing? That's keeping you in a dark frequency, freaked out, and it's taking your attention away from healing yourself, which is the most important thing you can be doing right now, whether it's meditation, whether it's walking, whether it's laughing, whether it's loving, whether it's eating healthy, whether it's eliminating toxins and processed foods. All those hours you're spending on there, you're not spending on healing yourself. So I just want that to know. That's why I don't do it. Every now and then I'll do something, a video to talk about it for somebody, but by and large, I don't. Vixen, sounds like maybe Peter came after. Yes, sister, I meant to include the devil, big pharma, conglomerate, food parasites too. Those are the parasites. You're right. Big pharma, these politicians, you want parasites? There's your parasites right there. Big pharma, the politicians, the food industry, the dietary supplement industry. Let me tell you something, guys. When I worked for the state of Florida, the Dietary Supplement Health Education Act was signed. That's called DSHEA. It was a law, DSHEA. And I became the state's, because I became interested, I was always interested in natural medicine, and I became the state's expert, and I am qualified in civil, criminal, administrative, federal, and state courts as an expert in dietary supplements. I wrote the labeling recommendations to the Presidential Council for the state of Florida. So I'm real familiar. I've inspected many dietary supplement manufacturers, and they weren't in our jurisdiction until they made the claim it cures parasites or it cures this. Then it became my jurisdiction because the exact language makes things a drug. So, I know dietary supplements. I know how they're manufactured. I've seen the big vats of bin with people with no gloves and the dog next to it scratching its fleas next to the bin. I've seen it all. Trust me. I've seen people with those bottles. I got to find that slide. I think I found it, and I have to preserve this one slide. It's a place we went into, and they had inhalation, compounded inhalation medicines. Now, mind you, this is, again, ingenious. The gut has a very thick lining that protects a lot of stuff. And if something is too big to go through that, I call it the pantyhose lining. You pull that pantyhose open and those holes in there. If something is, that's kind of like what the gut is lined with. If those pores in that pantyhose, so to speak, or that membrane, if you want to talk adult talk or technical talk, if those things are too big, they'll go right out the gut. But here's the thing. When you inhale something, there is absolutely no protective mechanism when you inhale it. This guy was making compounded, which we don't even know if the drug was in there, what he was using, if it was contaminated, because there's no post-production testing to even say it's 5 milligrams, it's got 5 milligrams in it, we tested it, here's the results. It's got nothing. It's clean because this was removed. It's got none of that. You basically, when a compounding pharmacist, he takes a mortar and pestle, he mixes it up like this, make sure it looks like it's all mixed up together. There you go. Hope it works. And that's basically what it is, because there's no testing. And that was one of the things that we went to testify. We were scheduled to testify before the Florida State legislation. And all of the field agents were flying to Tallahassee to testify about the dangers of compounding pharmacy practices, because we were all pharmacists. We got a call at 3 a.m. in the morning. Don't show up. There was a certain New England senator at the time, who is still around, I believe, somewhere, one of those reptile relics, and he owned stock in compounding pharmacies. He owned more than stock. He owned compounding pharmacies. He called our chief up and he said, if your people show up, and our chief was appointed, okay, so he could be let go at his leisure. We were all not appointed. We were hired. So we couldn't just be fired for no reason, but he was appointed and he could be fired at any point. And he was given a call at 3 a.m. by that senator saying, if your people go testify before the legislature tomorrow, don't show up for work the next day. So we got the call, your tickets have been canceled, don't get on the flight. And that's how it works. So anyway, the reason, only one small reason, what I tell you, is with these dietary supplements and everything, this guy was making these inhalant solutions where the respiratory tract has virtually no barrier to protect you from infection. And he was storing the containers that he was putting this inhalation liquid in a dirty old toilet. It had mold and black. It looked like the water was drained out of it, but it had mold and dirt all over it. And these are the bottles that a sterile solution was being put in. And if you don't understand, in a pharmacy, most don't have autoclaves. They do not sterilize those products. That's what you're dealing with, guys. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you go with anything that man makes, you're putting yourself at risk. Let's see. Oh, I don't use the ivermectin for cancer. I don't have it, but it does get worms out. Well, if you have worms and you see worms, the way to tell if you have worms a lot of times is they come out of your butt. Okay, they come right out. But I don't worry about worms. I don't eat worms, and I don't take ivermectin because of and I want to say specifically because of the neurological damage that it caused to my dog. She could have easily gone into and had convulsions from it. So that's why I don't do it. You got to be very careful with it. And those animal ones that they use, I'm okay. I'm even okay a little bit more. Pico, shut up, sweetheart. Daddy's home, I know. I'm even okay if you take a pill that's human. I don't love it, but in my opinion, the dosing is more accurate and there's less of a chance of overdose if you take a pill that's got so much in than if you take something, an injection or a paste that's meant for a 2,000-pound animal. So I prefer, if you can get the pills if you take them. Let's see. And Happy says, thank you so much, sister. You are definitely an encyclopedia of spiritual, natural living, breathing, loving knowledge. We are all winning. Thank you, guys. I'm so happy. If you want anything else to go over, just let me know. Let's do this. Let's play the video that started this whole thing, the Q proof, right? Now, those of you who are familiar with Q already, I want you to watch this and you'll see the signs in it. You'll see the proofs in it. The big proof is you're going to see on the clock behind the girl at about the 128. Actually, it appears in two spots, 4559. And you're going to, on a clock in back of this girl, and you're going to see July 1st, 20. We went to Q post 4559, which was posted on July 1st, 20. And we read that. So I'm going to close out with that. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at this one time because it sure makes me feel good. I don't know about you, but it made me feel amazing. Let me change it real quick. File, open it. And let me find it. Live stream content. Oh, I love this song. Sweet Land is the name. I know someone asked the name of this. Okay. So we're going to go there. And I'm not going to start it yet. And I'm going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to end it for now. After this, I'm going to shut it down. I love you guys. Remember, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. and every Friday at 4 p.m., throw something if you want to talk about something. Throw comments in anything that what you want to talk about, and I'm happy to talk about it. So let's switch this out. Let's end it. I love you guys the most. And let's take a look at our Q proof for one of them. One of them. You'll have to go back and watch it for the second one. Here we go, guys.
Oh, sweet land. Sweet land of the weary and the wild. Oh, where are you, my sweet child? The garden's either dying or about to come alive. The river's either drying or it's deep enough to dive. Can't tell if it's the dusk or if it's breaking into dawn. Are we going on or are we going gone? Somebody said a storm is coming, but it's been a long time. I don't know what's up ahead, but please, baby, don't you look behind. So tell me, is it gonna be free energy forever, or just the same damn old grind? Singing, sweet land of the weary and the wild. Are we 1 year from the grave, or is this just the beginning? My sweet child, oh, you're my star-spangled fever dream. Half a savior, half a liar. 250 summers and we're going higher, higher, higher. Singing, sweet land, going. The neighbors might be coming with a casserole or a gun. The kids are either screaming or they're laughing in the sun. Is the timeline coming undone, or is it coming in clear? The fireworks are blinding, but I'll keep on dancing here. And nobody can promise me that we're gonna make it to the light. So is it an awakening, or is this a knife in the night? So come on, brother, sister, stand up tall, because guess what? Where we go on, we go on. If you can hear this from the other side, cross this great quantum divide. Don't get me wrong. Now is the time to stay strong. So, with all of that, I'll say, God bless the USA! God bless the USA! Sing it, sweet land, going on. 250 years and it's going on and on the edge of a forever or the edge of being gone. Is it midnight? Is it morning? Is it ruining? Is it time to rise? 250 summers gone by. So just go on and tell me those sweet lies, the kind as sweet as these July. Going on and going gone. Light up, light, higher. Sweet land's going on. Sweet land, going, gone. So please, just know that we can still rebuild. We can still make something.